Sometimes the world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another amazing episode of your Heroes of Noise. I'm one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Dan, and welcome to episode 120. Didn't say 119 on the last one because it was going to be a bonus episode, but you know what? I changed my mind. Welcome to episode 120. Steve, what's going on? How you doing today?
Life is good. I missed you that last episode, bro.
Yeah, I know. I tried to get you, but you were like, fuck no, I don't want to do that. That's pretty much what he said, but he doesn't cuss. So he used some like flip or flarn. I don't know what he said, but it was something like that equated to the F word. But he didn't want to do it. So I understand, though. That was a rough show.
No, it was fantastic.
Did you listen, Steve?
Listen, bro. Yeah.
You didn't listen, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's going on? You've been here long enough to know. The people that listen know. Steve didn't listen, but good morning. I don't want to start off that way because we've got a guest today, Steve. I don't know if you're aware of that, if you've been paying attention to what's been going on. The fact that maybe I couldn't get a word in edgewise for the last 10 minutes prior to recording, but there's a good reason for that because we have a guest, ladies and gentlemen, friend of Steve's. I feel like you should do the introduction this time, Steve. I think it would be better coming from the heart.
Okay. This person I'm about to introduce is one of the most talented people that I've ever met in my life. I knew him when he was a young man. There's a place you can go. And he was an incredible bass player. Turns out he's an amazing songwriter, amazing singer, amazing rapper, amazing battle rapper. He's the man, the myth, the legend, one of the most driven people I've ever met. The dude, Daniel Dominguez.
What's going on, Daniel?
How's it going? It's good to hear you guys again. I missed you. I think we could just end that on a high note and then put all the banter at the beginning, edit it over to the end. And
he's like, you know what? I think I've given you enough of my time. Just take the rest of it and put it together. Frankenstein that shit.
Yo, y'all really gassed me like that. I appreciate that, man. Wow.
Dude, welcome to the show, man. Because like Steve's been talking about you for, gosh, I guess the last couple of years. And I hear the name and it's weird. You know, it's a small town we live in. This is the first time we're actually meeting up. See, here's the deal. I feel like I'm going to have to take a back seat on this one because you guys have history. Did you hear that? He's been listening. He knows what's up. You guys have history, and I want to hear what's up. So I'm just going to start this right away. Daniel, how do you meet Steve Hudson? Where does the union happen? And like, why are you here now? Like, what's going on? Talk to me, dude.
Let me try to give you the abridged. So it's 2005, Steve? Yes?
Yeah, dude. Yep.
Dang.
Jesus.
Okay, so it's like 2005, and I'm doing the band thing. I'm starting to get into rap production. I think I know everything because I'm like 20 years old. And my mom actually works at this place with a singer. And the singer is looking for a bass player. And bass is one of the things that I've done between the ages of 15 and 20. So I'm like, I could play bass on anything. I could do anything. And they're like, it's gospel. And I'm like, the black church music? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I love that stuff. I don't like church, but I like that. So I drive to Madera and I audition to play for a band with no equipment and no ability to read music, only an ear and some proportionate hands to my 5'6" frame. And I hit it off with these people, and the band director happens to be the actual man, Steve, the actual dude. If I'm the dude, he's the man. And so that's how we met, and they took me under their wing. They taught me how to be an actual musician, and I don't think I'm the songwriter or anything without their influence, and namely Steve, who really had all kinds of patience with me and taught me how to be a musician. I'm catching feels. I'm sorry. I'll go back to roasting you later, but that's real.
I like that because, see, that's the thing. And I'm being serious when I say this. People don't get that side of Steve. So it's kind of nice because, you know what? Honestly, I don't get that side of Steve. So I'm very curious to know a little bit more about the man they call Steve Hudson, not just Steve Hudson from Heroes of Noise. Because honestly, I think that's all I know, Steve. Is that true?
That's not true. Well, the thing is, the only reason
I didn't mean to sound like an insult. I'm just saying, like, there's many sides to the 20-sided die, like both of you, actually. And I've only been exposed to one side apiece.
Yeah, it's funny because I truthfully, when we started that band, I was in my Stevie Wonder mode. So all my bass lines were so difficult that when Keisha was like, I found a bass player, I'm like, did you though? Did you though? But Daniel came in and there was no, hey, Daniel, just play it like this. He'd be like, no, I want to play it exactly the way you have it on the CD. And so he would just stay there and learn every single bass line I did on the CD. Every single one, the way it was played. I'm like, how is he doing this? Like, I didn't know someone could do it, and he did it. He came in and did it. It's crazy.
To be fair, I didn't know I could do it.
You did it. You did it. Like, you did all those riffs and runs, and I was like, man, this kid. And I genuinely thought, I'm like, oh, he's going to go on to be the baddest bass player in California. And so when we reconnected later, and it was like, yeah, I play, but I do this other thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know he could do that. I didn't know he could do that. I didn't know he could do any of these things. I was like, man, we should have utilized him a lot more. We should have had him writing songs and crap.
Oh, no, but at that time, I was not even on your guys' level. There's no way.
Here's the thing, dude. We weren't on our level. I think I faked my way through that first CD.
Dude, there's no way, dude. There is no way.
Okay, stop for 1 second. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, Steve, I know about the Keisha CD that you talked about. Keisha, right?
Yeah.
So you're on that one too, Daniel?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, just making sure.
He's in the video.
Get my timeline straight.
I am in the video.
He is in the video.
I fulfilled the Cholo quota.
Gee,
nice.
You were grooving, and Keisha was like, "You gonna be in the video, Steve?" I'm like,
"You weren't in the video?
No.
Why not?"
I don't know. I was like, I did the music. That's all. That's
you love being difficult.
That's messed up. You could have sat next to me and Leonard, man.
That's right, Leonard. Yeah, I could have, because y'all was. I don't even know how it was shot. I don't know who had I didn't know any of that stuff. She just was like, "Well, it was done. It's done." We rented out a skating rink. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, I wasn't at that part. I was at the house party part.
You were 20 at that time, Daniel?
Between 20 and 21, yeah.
Holy crap, dude. And you were straight edge then.
Yeah, man. If you're not now, you never were. What do you mean?
Daggone. Look at this guy. Do you know what straight edge is, Dan?
To some degree. I can't say that, obviously, that I've done that. I failed miserably. But it's a cult. Yeah, it's a cult. Well, it's like, okay, I know that there's like a hardcore movement that's straight edge too, right?
Where it came from, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it came from. So, but there's obviously like a philosophy that goes with it. So, which to me has always been on the most simplest form: no alcohol, no cigarettes, nothing to poison your body, basically, right? And I'm sure there's a whole other like mindset that goes with it. I'm the wrong one to ask. I don't know.
Well, it's like, yeah, no drink, no smoke, no drugs is the basic. There's going to be a bunch of other people detracting and saying, "Oh, no this, no that. Oh, definitely no this. Oh, this is okay sometimes." I'm not playing that game, bro. I've been doing this since I was 16, more of my life. I have tattoos older than some of these new jacks, so no one can tell me anything like that. But like, that's the basic of it. But the main thing is it's a lifetime commitment. So it's not a diet. It's not, I was straight edge, not I'm going to be straight edge for Lent. It's a lifetime commitment.
Is that where the vegan comes into?
I just like cults, apparently, man. Like, it's really what it is. So there was some older straight edgers when I was a youngster that kind of influenced me. And they were like, well, yeah, if you're straight edge, that's dope. But you actually need to use your clarity of mind to bring good things to the world and good things around you and to do less harm. And that's where vegan straight edge comes together. And it's its own movement that combines the two, but it's also a mindset. And a lot of it actually expands beyond, like I said, a diet or abstaining from certain things, but more about justice and being on the right side of justice. So like there's like racism in the scene is very much not even tolerated, not even a little bit. A lot of the political correct type stuff that certain groups are getting really annoyed with right now, I was hearing that back in 2004, 2003 from the PC vegan straight edge kids, but like they had facts behind it. It wasn't just like, this is offensive. It was like, yo, historically, this is dumb and you're on the wrong side of it right now, homie. So straighten up. So that's kind of how those things work.
You were so, okay, I didn't know this, Dan, but apparently Daniel was way ahead of me politically I was like 30 at the time, dude. Well, yeah, about 30 at the time.
That's why I was so weird, dude. And you guys still put up with me. I appreciate you guys.
No, dude, you were so, because I remember when we had to go eat and you were like, I'm vegan. And in my brain, I was like, you can't eat anything but plants then. In my brain.
Yeah, I mean, in a way.
And so when it happened that you were, you know, we never talked politics really. We never really got into politics, but I'm talking about within the last year, I text Daniel and I'm like, capitalism is garbage. And he texts me, he's like, yeah, welcome to the boat on that one, G. I was like, oh, I didn't know that you were there at all. I thought I was saying something crazy risky to you. And you were like, dude, come on.
See, it starts out as whispers. No, seriously, it's like whispers basically, man, with
Yes.
people. And now people are starting to get hip to this shit. So now it's not so much of a whisper anymore. We're just catching up with where he was.
Yes.
Funny callback on that. I learned all that from being in the hardcore scene, which it relates to the punk rock scene. So the vegan and straight edge communities, they're hip to everything. And they're the ones whispering, 5 years, 10 years ahead of things.
This goes back to like DC hardcore, like Ian MacKaye or something like that from Minor Threat. He was straight edge. Is it the same thing? Just a newer generation?
Yeah, well, I mean, they kind of credit him for starting the whole movement, and then you could watch tons of interviews on him on how he feels about that. So, like, yeah, he was kind of the Hulk Hogan to, the WWE for that whole deal.
Good analogy.
But people took hold of it, and it's really just taken its own life. It's a trip. It's really a trip. Sometimes I look at my tattoos and my life and body work, and I'm like, wow, I'm really just a part of this thing that I got into when I was a kid because I needed to belong to something. I have family members that are in gangs and stuff, and that wasn't really the life for me. And I didn't belong as a kid. And going to hardcore shows and punk shows, that was kind of cool, but like I still didn't really associate with all the stuff. The straight edge thing, the vegan thing was like something to belong to.
Yeah.
That's kind of like there's a lot of people like me who took on that whole mindset, But yeah, Ian MacKaye was the dude that started the thing, but I don't think he started it to have dudes tattooing the word straight edge across their stomach at Fresno Tattoo at the age of 18,
Yeah.
by a Peckerwood name, by an old jail dude.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what his outlook was.
What was your first introduction to hardcore?
It's always hip hop, dude. I was freestyling with some local kids. I went to Clovis West High with a bunch of white kids. And the kids that I knew that were into hip hop, there's a group of them that were also hardcore kids. And I was freestyling with them one day. And they're like, you should come watch our band play. We're like Slipknot. And I'm like, oh, that headbanger stuff? That's weird. And I went to one at The Elements, which was a Christian nightclub in Tower District, right on Olive.
I remember that place.
Yep. I went there and they'd have all ages shows. I went to go see my buddy's band play. And from the first one, I was hooked. I wanted to go to every single one. I started hanging out with them mostly.
May I ask, was it the music that got you? Was it just the scene in general? Was it everyone throwing kicks and shit like that?
I mean, they're kid tested, mother approved. So there's that. But my kicks are at least.
Give me 2 seconds to get that.
Steve, tell him catch up, man.
I know. I'm telling you, I got to wake up a little bit.
People are like, this is light. This was light.
Steve did you wrong too, because he's letting you be the straight character and do all the heavy lifting because he can't keep it straight.
Ain't nothing new there, Daniel.
Here's the funny part. Talking to Daniel, like this hardcore stuff, I knew Dan was going to be more of because I still don't get it. Like when I've been on the show, I think you've probably heard me say, and Dan's had to correct me being like, that's not the same sort of music.
This is true.
Yeah.
Dan's like, it's just totally different music that you're listening. I'm like, no, he sings this sort of music. And Dan is like, that's not true. And I'm sure if you called him and asked him, he'd say that's not true.
But for the record, it's not like that's my scene. You know what I mean? Like I've been to hardcore shows. There's been hardcore bands that I've been into, but that's not my particular scene. So I'm curious about it too. But I can tell you, you can't really lump in, say, as you used to call it, death metal with hardcore. I mean, there's so many different genres in metal, if you even want to call hardcore metal, which I wouldn't, it's got metal, there's some properties to it, if you will, but like
it can get so nerdy right now. I don't know if the listening audience is ready.
Yeah, please do.
I can think of like 3 people that'll be into it. I'm down.
But
that's what she said.
Oh.
You know what?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Here's the thing. Like, I think when I hear that sort of music, it all combines together to be like, oh, this is that thing Daniel sings. And Dan's like, no, it's not. He'll show me a song. I'll be like, oh, yeah, the Daniel music. He's like, no, not at all. That's not it at all. He does this.
Can I say you're both right?
Please.
Here's why. So, and this calls back to your question of like, what got me into it? It was everything. Like I said, I was 15, I think, when I went to my first show. something like that. So I was a sophomore in high school, and I was kind of outcasted with my group of friends anyways. And there was a bunch of people that everybody was kind of an individual, and I was striving for individualism in a group setting. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And this was a place where, like, yeah, it was cliquey and it was still a bunch of weirdness, but like there was a lot of freedom there. And what really got it was I was a hip hop head. Every song had these things called breakdowns, and a breakdown is basically a rap beat. And so when I heard my first breakdown, I got the chills and I was like, what is this? It sounded like these bands were playing 7 songs, but really they were only playing 1 or 2. And because the songs would change up. So my little ADD brain was just in heaven. There was just so much for me to soak in. And it was this whole other world that I was really happy to jump right into, because I wasn't happy where I was at. I was, like I said, like a kind of an outcasted kid. And the only group that really took me in were the hardcore kids. And they were all 100% themselves. And that's what it was there. You know?
And I've heard that story so many times, dude. I'm not saying this like cliche. I'm saying I think that's where a lot of people come from. They want that sense of community.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they can really gel with any one particular group, but then they find this group of like misfits that fits their, you know, it fits their beliefs and everything like that. And I think it's the same thing for me. It's like I was down with the metal kids in school. Same thing. Didn't really feel like I could relate to anybody. Had long hair. Not a lot of people had long hair. And I just looked for the Slayer shirts, you know, and that's where it was. That's pretty much how it happened, man. You know, and I think that's just, and that at its, you know, at this minimal level is that sense of community. You're just striving to find a set of people that you can hang out with like minds that you can have fun with and not feel like a loser.
Right. So like the like-mindedness is wild, because the stream of consciousness that a lot of people subscribe to there is this freedom of expression, and this whole idea of like, look, as long as you're not oppressing somebody or putting somebody down, do your art. So if you're a hardcore band, you could sound like so many different things. And that's the cool thing about hardcore is it's this buffet. And it's like, if you're from this area, you may be influenced by this. And if you're from this area, you may be influenced by this. And if you're this race, you may be influenced by this. And you bring these things in. So like the band I went to go see, they liked Slipknot, but they're a hardcore band because of the ideals they carried and because of how they expressed themselves. And so they had some Slipknot sounding parts, but then they had some other stuff in their songs. And it was just, like I said, it was like this dope buffet, you know, of art. And I think that's why you're both right too, in saying, and Steve saying, well, this is what Daniel does. Cause chances are whatever he's listening to, I'm probably influenced by in one way or another. But you also can't really put a pin on it. So Dan, you're kind of right in your own way too, because I'm not exactly that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like calling a buffet a Chinese food restaurant.
Jesus. That would be horrible.
Yeah. Can I get a Don DeMarco? See, I just called back too. Can I called back too to us, me being vegan and going to eat with you guys.
We did go to I forgot we went to an Asian buffet.
Ooh.
Oh my God. That was good too. I still remember that. You ate fries.
Y'all wildin', dude. That was not, I think it was Leonard, because Leonard was my youngster. So me and him were like the young clique. And like, he was not having it, dude. But he was so polite. He's such a sweet dude.
Yes. And the funny thing is, that was when I was like, you can eat that. You can eat this. And seeing you, mind you, I never thought I'd be vegetarian even. Ever.
I did.
And so, did you really?
Oh, yeah.
What made you think that?
Cult leaders know who they could pick out real quick, bro.
Yeah.
Real quick.
He was harming you, man.
Dude, it's so funny because it all it took was one thing to click, where someone was like, I believed in animal rights. And they're like, don't you eat meat? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, then you can't believe in animal rights. And I said, that's ridiculous. And the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute.
Who told you that?
Like a random person where we were just talking. It wasn't even a friend. And I was like, I believe in animal rights. And she's like, don't you eat? It was a woman. She's like, don't you eat meat? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, then you can't believe in animal rights.
I mean, you can believe in it. You're just not practicing it. Which is a recurring theme in the world, actually.
Dude, listen. And I got home. I was like,
that's very true, man. There's lots of things that people acknowledge. They just don't follow.
They just don't
practice.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember that old quote? They're like, I can't hear what you're saying because your actions are so loud.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, dude, that's one of those where I just like that. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And since and that bleeds into, as Dan knows, into everything where I'm just like, well, where does it stop? Like if I see a bug or anything, I'll catch it and take it outside. And when people stomp on them and like say they're vegan and they stomp on them, I'm like, well, where does animals stop? When does life not matter then?
Yeah,
and that's
true.
where my whirlwind goes, where I'm just like, if life matters, life matters. Right?
How
Like,
big, how small, how inconvenient
Yes!
is it? How threatening is it to me?
Bingo. And my thing is, when does mercy stop? You're showing mercy. I remember telling Dan, I'm like, when you tell a kid, hey, save that roach, you're not showing it you're showing that kid mercy, that you being bigger doesn't mean that you have to kill something.
Yeah, I'm going to come off like a terrible person on this one. So I'm just going to say,
kind of a recurring thing. Do it.
It's always me, right?
Now, Dad, why are you going to be a terrible person?
Because you guys, I have two good guys that don't kill bugs and they don't eat meat, and I'm
no. See, it's undetermined whether Steve kills bugs or not, because he said he'll catch it and take it outside. So my guess was he was going to shoot the fair one outside with the bug. Like, look, we're not going to do this inside. We're going to do this outside, like gentlemen. That's what my assumption.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah,
it's what you do in private. It's all for show. Then
he sees a roach. He's not going to sneak it.
No,
he's not going to be like, "Ooh, caught you slipping, homie." Like you're in the wrong side of town. He's like, "Yo, let's go to neutral ground. Let's go outside."
Bingo. Because that's how I was, like how you guys said, hey, I needed a clique because I was this person and I found the hardcore group and Dan found his clique. I used to kill folks in LA, and it wasn't until I got NWA, I'm like, I feel like I'm part of something now.
So what if a kangaroo?
Was my clique.
What if you caught a kangaroo in your house? Do you sneak it or shoot the fair one outside?
Oh, we shoot but it's the same outcome, Dan.
If a Sylvester Stallone crawls into your kitchen,
oh gee, well, I wouldn't know if he was standing up or not.
Oh my God.
Be the same.
So then you will not make fun of certain appearances of people, but short people, it's okay to make fun of. Is that what you're saying, Steve?
If someone's going to fight me, I got a clown, bro.
I mean, just where does the line fall? Like I remember you corrected yourself a couple episodes ago when you were talking about how you felt like you insulted Kevin Smith's wife, but now you're insulting, you've threatened, first of all, you've threatened Sylvester Stallone. Publicly threatened him with violence.
I have.
I don't know if it's actually a threat.
And now you're short shaming him.
That was mean. That was harsh.
We might have short people in our audience that are taking offense to this right now.
So hold on. Let me sort this out because I've been listening.
Yes.
So he can catch a beat down, but you won't say mean things to him.
Bingo. That's what I should. I shouldn't say mean things to a person.
Are you apologizing with each punch?
He sounds scared of him, actually, is what it sounds like to me. I'm trying to be neutral here, bro. Like, honestly, like I have no reason to take anybody's side.
And also, I'm not saying, we also need to clarify short shaming, because we already determined we don't know what short is. Where's the barrier? Like, I think tall could be anything over like 5'2", 5'3". Technically, that could be tall.
To who?
Look at him backtrack.
I love this.
He's so scared of Sylvester Stallone.
I love this part.
I don't want to be mean. You're right. I need to reshape how I think about people in general.
You backtrack on your backtracking.
I'm backsliding on my backsliding. You're right. I won't call Sylvester Stallone short, but I will say that he can catch these hands at any given moment.
You'd have to throw him down to him, though, is what you're saying.
I'm not short shaming.
You're so easy, Steve.
Facts are facts. And if you're taller than him, then you're taller than him.
I don't know. I don't know his height. I will say that I don't know his height.
If only there was a way that we could look that up. It's a pipe dream.
Well, the thing is, like I said, we don't know what short is. Some people call themselves short, and I'm like, you're not short.
I've been called short.
Same.
By who?
By tall people.
Well, see, that's not fair. Like, what are they, like 6'5"?
Some of them. Stallone is 5'10".
No, he's not. That must be his build height. There's no way he's 5'10". There's no way.
Did you notice my hesitation when I read that? I'm like, I don't think he's 5'10". I really don't. I would guess he's probably around like 5'6", 5'7".
5'7" is fair.
I've heard other celebrities say he's 5'3", but they say it in a condescending way. So he's probably 5'6", because I like to think I'm the same size as Sylvester Stallone, and that'd be tight. Which means that I could be your sparring partner.
Oh, snap!
Oh.
That's crazy. But I'd be too nice to you, Daniel.
Oh, we can change that.
Well, if you started doing some of your battle rap bars on me, I'd be like, okay, we're gonna.
He'd be applauding. That's false.
Daniel, would you be mad if like we clipped on one of your battle raps to the end of the show?
I'm not a fan of my battle raps, actually.
Why not? Okay, do you remember a bar from your battle rap?
Yes.
Hit me with it.
I'll try to remember it.
Okay, go.
It was something about Six Flags. This cat is a biter that's got no style, so it's just bad when he flows. I mean, he can't be a writer, and he's got no lines like Six Flags when it's closed.
That's a good line.
That's what it was. Yo, that shit's like 10 years old.
That's a good line, G. That's it. And people were like, oh.
I got a couple O's, and then I got it. Like one of my homies that was like a prominent MC at the time, he called me and is like, yo, people don't even understand how dope that is. And I'm like, tell me why it's so dope. And he's like, because you said writer like a thug, but you said writer, like somebody who writes. But you also said writer like you're in line for Six Flags. And I'm like, yeah.
I did both of those things.
Did you mean all those things for real or no?
Sometimes.
Sometimes they're accident, and I just go with it.
You shoot for 2, but if you get 3, like go for it.
Own that 3, yeah.
I think that's an and one. Like that's an and one for sure.
Another question about battle rap. How nervous are you before you're announced?
Dude, 10 years ago, extremely nervous. But I played it off like crazy, and I used to stare holes into my opponents, usually bigger than me. And you realize that these fools are just as nervous and usually less prepared.
Did you ever get stage fright?
Yes.
Define stage fright.
Like you're almost not wanting to go on stage. Maybe you're gagging. I gag before karaoke. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like I'm going to physically throw up before I do it. That's me though. That's why I'm more comfortable behind a microphone sitting down than like on stage. You're going to go up and you're going to do battle rapping right now. Plus you got to be seen by a bunch of people on stage. How nervous are you?
You guys talking about it's already bringing back old nerves.
So you did get kind of like, oh my God, what am I doing?
I had to take a couple walks a couple times, usually when I was less prepared. Because that's the thing is you don't want to choke. There's a couple battles where I had like sponsors. So I'm wearing other people's clothes. Like, hey, wear my brand in this battle.
You don't choke in someone's brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't like, you can lose. But the other thing is like, there's a lot of tension there. So sometimes people will say some real dumb stuff and you have to just take it, you know?
Oh, like racist stuff, huh?
Racist stuff about your loved ones.
Oy, oy, oy.
It got wild.
Did you ever get mad?
Not during a battle that I was in.
Driving home thinking about what they said?
No. Because I win. Like, so why would I be mad?
Look at this guy.
Now I know why you hang out with Steve. You guys have very similar.
No. Okay. Check this out. When Sylvester Stallone beats the snot out of Steve, do you think he's going to be mad that Steve scratched his chest while he was beating the snot out of him?
That's a good point.
That might have been the hardest scratch Steve could muster.
Hey, has anybody got any Neosporin for this race on my chest right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because dude, every time I watch battle rap, like I'm like, how do you memorize 3 verses? Because that's memorizing three like songs.
You're writing a song for a dude, and that's weird.
Gee, that's crazy. If someone told me, hey, Steve, what song do you know the best in your life? What rap song? And I'd be like, this song. And they say, okay, all you have to do is recite all 3 of those verses flawlessly while people interrupt you with clapping. I'd be like, oh, I couldn't even do that. And I know this song like the back of my hand. And I don't know if I get stopped if I could remember where I was. If people overreact to the point that like, you didn't think a line was going to catch that reaction and it throws you off, I don't know if I could go back to what I was doing. And so seeing these guys do this flawlessly, like people like Conceited, folks that could just start where they stopped. You know what I'm saying? That got that thing Calico in them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, look at Daniel up there being like, yeah, nothing's going to stop my flow.
It's muscle memory first. But second, nobody knows the song. So if you need to change a couple of things, it's okay.
But you have to be dope to change a few things and still finish all that.
You just got to push through it, man.
I have a question. Steve, do you think you could go up against Daniel?
Battle rapping?
Yeah.
Heck no.
Okay,
not a chance.
I like to test the limitations of your cockiness sometimes.
Because, you know, if I didn't know battle rap, I would think I could. If I didn't know battle rap, I'd be like, oh, I could do this. But having been in that culture for so long, I know, it is one of the hardest things you can do. Like what Dave Matthews Band is doing up on stage is not as hard as what these battle rap guys are doing.
Word?
It's insane. Oh no. When you look at Lux's third, bro.
Dude, I think this is one of those specialized things where it's like, because I look at what you do, like musically, and I'm like, how on earth? How on earth? But they're just hyper focused on lyrics. That's all it is. And performance. It's two things. But a lot of these guys can't write a song. And if they put their hands on a piano, you would punch them.
Oh, for sure. But them.
So you know what I'm saying? It's so specialized. You know what I mean? It's like the guy who can only shoot threes from one spot or a few spots.
Let me tell you something I've never seen on stage before. And Dan, I promise I'm going to send you the clip. Here's when Hollow the Don did that setup. You're like 4 balls and you're like 4 bars and a da-da-da.
Oh, yeah.
And he let the crowd say Kit Kat. And he's like, see how easy it is to get that? That is harder than anything I've seen someone do on stage, bro.
Yeah.
That thing was magic.
Stand-up comedy, bro. It's stand-up comedy.
Do you know? Because anything could have gone wrong. If the crowd wouldn't have responded.
He knew his crowd, man.
Gee, it's crazy. So that's why I say it's.
You've gotten a crowd to sing along, right?
Not that quick, because if he already had the bar ready after they said something.
Oh, but that was planned. So planned.
You think so?
It's in the rhyme scheme, dude.
I know, but most people wouldn't have. He has to trust that you've listened to enough battle rap that you know the end of this rhyme.
If you're paying $50 and up for tickets to a smack event, you know enough about battle rap.
So you would have said that line in the crowd.
Oh my God, yeah. Sorry, did I get too loud?
No, you're fine. Hey, I have a question though, real quick, guys. I'm sorry to break up the conversation, and I hate to be this guy, but I'm serious about something. We're just kind of talking about it like it's just like because it's part of the norm for us, right? I mean, at least I understand what you guys are talking about, but there might be people out there that don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now. So, do you guys have one good reference that I could pull up real quick?
I would say,
I'm interested. Man. I'm interested to hear what Steve said. I'm interested to hear what Steve says.
Oh, dude. I wouldn't pull up a reference. I would say go to, I would say for a good reference of what battle rap is. I know what Daniel's thinking because for me, there's certain. Okay, that's true. I don't. For me, it's rough because I would tell people to look at a battle, but the only reason I would say that I'd be like, oh crap, but it was this round. The other rounds were by the other person was trash, but it set up this crazy round by this person. I don't know what battle I would say. Go to this battle, and this is the essence of battle rap. What would you say, Daniel?
Honestly, I may be biased because I was there, and I'm a big fan of both actually. And one of them is a good friend of mine and lived at my house for like a year. But I'm saying Carter Deems versus Head Ice in California for tons of reasons. So first of all, the people we're by at the event are Carter's friends that are like lawyers and stuff. So they're normies. They have no idea what battle rap's about. My lady's with me. She kind of knows what battle rap's about because she's just the coolest ever, but not like so much. And then you got me, an ultimate fanatic, standing with my homie Carter, who is from Atlanta. He's a white dude who graduated and passed the bar and practices law against Head Ice, who is exactly what you think he is from his name. He's that. His name it stands for Harlem every day, all day. I control everything. And
that's Head Ice.
And he's the polar opposite of Carter, and they both have their style battle with each other, and everybody has a great time. And it's a perfect mixture of relatable, but not straying so far from battle rap that it watered it down. Because Head Ice is only going to be Head Ice. And the energy in that room, like I'm getting the chills talking about it, like was so dope. And Ruin Your Day and Avocado and that staff there, they are to me what anybody that wants to get into battle rap should go watch Ruin Your Day and follow what they're doing.
I'll make him go really dumb for
There's
talking
Carter.
slick when I put that metal in his mouth. Now that's a silver tongue. Yeah. You started battle rapping at the age of 51. What else? Back when you were really young.
When you were really young. What you may not see is Head Ice reacting to all of it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's definitely visuals going on here.
I don't act like I carry a silly gun, but my girl does, and she bang like William Hung. That picture in my living room, that's the one that William hung. Crazy with the hands, I got silly thumbs. I don't kill a ton, but I move with another kill a ton. Just wait till my shipments come, this butthead Bennett bum. Catch me in the kitchen whipping up sticky buns. Your favorite Pokemon is Lick-a-Tongue. I'll make him stop motion like chicken run in minute, son. My mom beat you in a foot race. That chick can run.
Carter Deems is a lot of people's entry level into battle rap.
See, and the funny thing is, I think my entry into battle rap was.
I'm sorry, non-hip hop heads. Sorry to cut you off, but the non-hip hop heads.
Oh yeah,
Carter Deems.
No, for sure. I would say mine was Jay Mills versus Mook.
T-Rex.
Mook. Yeah,
that was a big one. Smack.
That was back in the day, and that was when I was just like, "Oh, dude, this could be a thing."
Hey, you were right.
I was like, because I was so enthralled with what these dudes were doing. Now, like later on, obviously, Hugh and I have talked about like Calico and all these dudes. But if you want to get into like, for all of y'all that like are already hip hop heads and like gangster rap and stuff, go to like Calico, Calico versus Math. Calico eats that dude alive, G. Bruh.
Talk to him.
G. He's like, yes, that was incredible.
And Detroit, we ride with it on our lap. Is that the one?
Oh. When he said you're gonna feel like a third wheel when I send a couple to take you out, bruh.
I was from Detroit after he said that line.
I said, what is this cat talking about?
The funniest thing is, and I think again the non-battle rap listeners won't get, is that like he's using figurative language to say, I'm going to fire 2 bullets to kill you, send a couple to take you out. But he's masking it with, you're going to be hanging out with a couple, which is so hilarious to me. Like when you step outside of it and analyze it, it's ridiculous. But the way people react, it was as if he was changing people's lives.
Could I dumb this down to the point where I'm not giving people enough credit and just be like, if you don't understand that, then
please,
contrary to what Daniel might say right after I say this, like check out 8 Mile.
Yeah, that's true. And it's
that's a lot of people's entry level.
No, I was going to say that there are lines that there's at least 100 battle rap lines I could quote to this day. And they're from some battles. Like I know John the Don line, and I'm not even a John fan. You know what I'm saying?
You know why you know John the Don lines? Because he's taking everybody else's lines, so there's someone else's anyways. Don't worry about it.
What about dude? That's not true.
Oh my God! Stop.
Well, he does. No, he does. But the ones that I like, the only one I like was "Now I Got the Crowd Going Wild." Ooh ah. That line. I was like,
terrible.
You think horrible? What are you talking about, G?
I actually skip through John's rounds most of the time.
Okay, you don't know that. That line is dope, G.
If his name was Juan, I'd be more interested.
But I would say, like, I could rattle off Hollows. I could rattle out Charlie Clips. I could rattle off conceited lines because there's certain ones that just stick in my head where I'm just like, that's funny. And
for sure.
And also the Illmaculate lines, certain Illmaculate lines. I'm like, it's not so much the line, it's how good he does without fumbling that line. I can't say the line without like fumbling. But anyway, yeah, check out.
He lives to his name.
If you like performances, if you like performance art, and you like, you know what? I will even go so far as like, if you've been to those kind of like artistic one-man show type things?
Absolutely. Stand-up comedy.
Yeah, stand-up comedy. Go into battle rap. I would, if you are already versed in hip hop, go to Smack. Smack is probably going to be your thing. If you're not versed in hip hop, I would say go to like check out what Ruin Your Day is doing. The early, because even they get real deep. Like if you don't know a lot,
their content is great on that channel.
Yeah, but they get really deep if you don't know what you're. Yeah, they get really deep. Yeah,
they can.
So I would even say go before that, because in order to enjoy some of their videos, you have to know what was happening around the time, who they're talking about, what the culture was doing. Be like, because they'll talk about, hey, at this time, such and such and such and such wasn't getting along, so that line was in. That crap is great when they broke down.
It's pro wrestling, dude.
Yes, you have to know what's happening. Yo, Big Gerald, that whole thing.
Oh my God. It's kind of like watching a series of TV shows. Like you this is an ongoing episodic
Yes.
forever. Every event is an episode. And chances are, if you're joining in season 6 and somebody's so evolved now, you may not get it as hard. This is coming from somebody who watched the new Star Wars movies first.
Here's the funny thing. Dan, I would say this, like there's one battle where this guy is talking to this his opponent. He's talking about what that opponent's father has done for him. He's like, he sent you to the best schools, the this, and he's breaking it down. He's like, why you got to act tough when your dad did this for you and this for you? He goes on this long thing, and he said, yo, and he calls out the guy's dad. He's like, yo, Big Gerald, and he looks around, and the dude's dad answers like, yep, and the guy said, that's how you talk to your son. I was like, oh my, if dude wouldn't have answered, that whole line is dead. And I'm like, there's no way the guy's dad's going to answer. And he's like, yes, sir. I'm like, oh,
That's a long ride home right there.
Gee, I know Hitman was like, why did you answer him? Why didn't
The
you
look
just
on his face. There's so much deep in that, but there's so much. The look on Smack's face, because Hitman was next up, and Averb was like, nah, it's still me at that line. But to wrap this thing up, because like we can go on for battle rap for years. I'm not really battle rapping right now. I just watch it, and I probably will never battle rap again until Steve calls me out, and then I'll have to,
I say, yo.
But this is the thing you want to do. If you're looking to get entry level, is understand that everything in Smack, if you don't understand what the word is, it's a gun. And secondly, there's a movie on YouTube called Bodied, and it's very explanatory. A lot of battle rap fans don't like it. But for people who aren't into battle rap, it really explains the scene and the culture in the most palatable way for somebody who isn't into hip hop. Like they really tried to give you a modern battle rap for dummies without just saying it. You know what I mean? So the movie's called Bodied. That would be something for you guys to watch.
Was it Netflix?
I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember that. I was going to watch it too. That was when I had that YouTube Premium. I don't have that anymore. So I don't know where it is now. It was YouTube Premium. That's right. I remember that.
Wasn't Eminem involved with that?
He threw some cash at it, I'm sure.
Probably. Who knows? Who cares about Eminem? Anyway.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm going to entertain this just because I know there's people that listen to us that don't like Eminem. What's your beef with Eminem, man?
I just don't think he's dope.
Daniel.
He used my legal name. Okay, so to me, dopeness is a state of being. And he's too one-dimensional in my mind and in my heart to be considered dope.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this, Dan.
Well, I guess drugs are dope, and they give you one high, and then they ruin your life. So maybe he is dope.
Okay, here's the problem. We all know the God MC has co-signed him.
Who?
When Rakim says, listen, the dude is for real.
Okay, sure, he can rap. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You're like, he can rap his tail off. You admit that. But that's why I said he's a great lyricist, and you weren't giving him that.
I think that if he wasn't allowed to rhyme nothingness, and if he wasn't allowed to say really weird and sexist and misogynistic and but just all these really off the wall things, if he wasn't allowed to say that, he's not rhyming as much. And if he's not rhyming as much, that's his superpower.
But what about Stan?
Okay, cool.
He literally was like, I'm going to talk about a subject. And he did great.
I did that for one song, but all the way up to that, I talked about murdering my ex-wife. And
this is true.
And strangling people with candy and calling out names of random celebrities because I could think of a rhyme scheme that goes on for 16 bars on this, but I'm not going to do 16-bar rhyme scheme. I'm going to do a 4-bar and put every word that I could think of that rhymes in there.
I think it's something about him because a lot of rappers rap about bull crap, but it's something about him rapping about bull crap you don't like.
He's got a dumb voice. His production is cheesy. He's Walmart, dude. He's McDonald's.
Okay, I get that.
You know what it is for me is
yes.
I can't relate. And the reason I got into rap is because I can relate. The reason I got into hardcore is because I could relate. The reason I got into battle rap is because I could relate because I got picked on a lot. So I learned how to roast. And I listen to Eminem and I can't relate.
Okay, here's what I couldn't relate to. Later on when he was rich and he was still talking about stuff, I couldn't relate to that.
Yeah, he's got a point, dude. He is a little one-dimensional.
He is, but what rapper? I mean, because you've liked one dimensional, like dude, you like
I like Gucci Mane. I like Waka Flocka Flame. I like 2 Chainz. There's a guy named Partisan. Mystical.
There we go.
Oh, you're lying, bro. Listen to not Mind of Mystical. That one was too weird. But I think there's an album or two after that. He's telling stories. He tells one, there's a metaphor about him being on fire. And it actually talks about his journey to getting signed. But he uses a metaphor of being on fire and nobody noticing. And he can't get out of it. And then at the spoiler alert, you guys want to fast forward or something. But at the end of the song, he goes out. The fireman is like, I can't help you. None of that. He goes to the lake. He's rolling around in the lake. He can't get put out of this fire. And then somebody walks up to him and hands him a tape and says, you've just been put out. Fire went away. Done.
But someone could wax poetic about an Eminem song just like that. You just like Mystical. I'm not saying you like Mystical now that he's gotten convicted of stuff. I'm not saying that you.
Yeah, definitely not.
His actual real life is problematic. I'm not saying
if he passed me a note and said, "Do you like me? X, yes or no?" I'd probably do no.
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, I think you give, like you said, you can. There are certain people you feel as if you have a connection to, and there is just not the cosmic connection to. And I don't think that your dislike for him is something that it's not an actual a thing. It's just something it's metaphysical, that you're not connecting with him. There are certain people that I connect with, and I don't know why. I can't even put it into words.
I just don't eat that. His dimension ain't for my flavor. But and not to say I haven't listened to Eminem songs. Not to say that haven't heard Eminem songs. You know what I mean? But I'm not looking for that. I'm not checking for that. That's doing nothing for me.
He likes what he likes, Steve.
How is Gucci Mane doing something for you?
Sauce. And that's something that Eminem doesn't have. He has no seasoning.
Neither does
take that as you want.
Gucci Mane G. Are we really having this conversation?
Sauce.
How?
Sauce.
Give me a line that he has sauce on.
Remember, I can pull up anything you want.
No, I'm sure Daniel can recite these.
Let's see.
Give me something.
The Lambo, the something, the Rari. If I wasn't rapping, I'd probably be robbing. Oh my God.
That's not tight.
I believe it. I believe it. Daniel. You know what it is too? Is I believe it. I believe it. Eminem has not killed his mom. I don't believe it.
Okay.
You know what he is?
Mystical's never been on fire either.
Yeah, yes, he was. I'm sure he's burning right now. And he will be later too in life after he's dead. Anyways, you know what Eminem is? He's a lot of the kids I went to high school with, and I hated high school. And that's what he represents.
There we go.
And that's there. And welcome to the counseling session.
There we go. Thank you. There we go.
I don't rock with it. Like when a lot of people were taking that moniker on, they're dickheads, and he's their leader.
I get that,
dude. It's funny. I really do.
Gucci Mane, all them cats are people that used to act like they were harder than they were, tougher than they were.
How dare you? Gucci has a justifiable homicide.
Gee, does he?
Yes. Jeezy sent somebody. I read his book. Jeezy.
Well, then it's true.
Yeah. Jeezy sent somebody after his chain, and the chick he was seeing at a strip club took him to her house, and she was setting him up. 2 dudes tried to get him. He wrestled the gun from one of them, shot one of them while the other one fled. And that's why he got locked up in 2007 or so.
Sounds very Soulja Boy.
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, Soulja Boy chased people out with a...
No. That's different because Soulja Boy wants to be Gucci Mane, and he's already said that. I'm sorry, I can't think of a better Gucci Mane line right now.
That's what I'm waiting, because I could rattle off Eminem where you would say that Eminem line is dope. That's a dope line.
Here's something that I learned after doing music with you is that it wasn't all about lyrics. It wasn't all about lines. It was about delivery. It was about sincerity, believability. It was about all these other things that you can't really teach. You can go take creative writing classes. You can hire somebody to write for you. You can't hire somebody to put sauce on your songs the way Gucci does it.
You know what's funny? My son and I were having a conversation about best rapper, and I told Dan this, and we had to break it down where we both said, "Oh, you know what it is? There's conversational rappers and there's rappers. Conversational rappers are people that act like Jay-Z, Biggie, and Pac are conversationalists, where he's like where
Pac's a preacher.
Yeah, and it sounds like they're sitting down and kind of talking to you about he's like, I'm a bully with the Bucks. Don't let these patent leather shoes fool you, young. And I got the fully in the like that kind of like Jay. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm just talking to you. Biggie, I'm just talking to you. Pac, I'm just talking to you. Whereas other rappers are rap. Ice Cube is not a conversational rapper.
Dan, watch me ruin Steve's life.
No, I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
Biggie's overrated.
Oh, that's fair. No, that's totally fair.
Biggie's not the lyricist. Biggie's terrible.
That's
like I don't
terrible. You're
like,
crazy.
Well, maybe not terrible, but he was a hustler and he was smart and he did good things. But like they try to act like he's the greatest of all time or he's ultimate lyricist. He's not ultimate lyricist. So what? He didn't write. I put songs together that I didn't write either. Like he wasn't killing it. He just was trying less and still did better.
Let me ask you something real quick, Steve. What? On that, could people be hanging on to 90s nostalgia with Biggie?
Yes.
I used to think that until when you listen to his, like when you listen to some of his lines that he spit in the 90s, a lot of them have not been topped since then.
Break down some of his other lines though, and they're horrible.
No, but I'm saying some of his verse on More Money, More Problems is one of the best verses in hip hop history. One shot verse. It doesn't get much better than that.
When he punched in.
No, G. Talk about B.I.G. P.O.P.P.A. No info for the DEA. G, that is such a great first line.
Wow, like, he rhymed A with A? Oh my God. Watch out, Eminem.
G. That punch in.
Rhyming letters is like the entry-level freestyler thing. Oh, I'm D-E-D and I get P-A-I-D.
No. But Daniel, you just said it's about the swag of the delivery.
Yes, he had thoughts on that verse.
He had that thing where it sounds like he's just talking to you, where it's like, it doesn't feel like he wrote this. He had the swag of delivery. It was like goods. I'm sorry, we're going with.
You still want him to have his gain up, Dan?
Yeah.
It's like he had the swag of his. So if you're gonna hang on swag and not lyrics, you got to do it all the way.
I'm listening to another show right now, by the way, and I'm just entertained. I'm just entertained right now.
I see you. Hey, you have a point. You have a point, Steve. You have a point.
Yeah, Big. So Big had the swag of delivery. Jay-Z had swag of delivery. Pac had swag of delivery and lyrics. But I totally agree. Where I would put Big. Now, don't get me wrong. I put Big in the top 5.
Sure.
But I don't think he's out rapping. When we put him in the time frame, what Rakim was doing in the 80s, he was an alien. He was the first one to, instead of being like, hot, hip it, hot, sit, dip it, hit, hot, hip it. Instead of doing that, him and Big Daddy Kane were like rapping to the point people were like, oh, wait.
They were really using their syllables and they were really rhyming.
They were like actually not doing, and people were like, how are they doing what they're like? What is he doing over there? You know what I'm saying?
Here's the equalizer that really fixes it for the nerds. And here's a question that popped up in my head. If Biggie doesn't accomplish what he accomplished record sales wise, if he doesn't die at such a crazy time, if he isn't part of an important time in hip hop and rap and R&B actually, and that whole time, if he isn't a part of that and have that success, is he really a great rapper? Because people weren't buying his stuff because his raps were great. They were buying it because the production was fire, because they were sampling all these old top 40 songs. There was marketing. The music videos were movies. They were buying that. They weren't buying his raps. This was the shiny suit era, and he was one of the kings.
The genius of P. Diddy. As much as you want to clown him, the genius of, he made people think Mace was crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Mace could rap.
Before he met, when he was Mace Murder, he could rap, but when
he still had lines.
Which ones?
The song he did with Total.
So what line did he have on that?
I don't know. He was trying to speak Spanish slang, so I was okay with it. He said mama and papa, and I was like, I could relate. I'm in.
Well, I mean, he was like, he was fine. But like, I would say if Biggie had survived, he would
he'd be washed up.
No. If Biggie survived, there is no Jay. Biggie survives, Jay-Z doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. For sure. Jay had to take that
Jay-Z
crown.
does not exist because he would be chasing that crown for his whole life. Pac survives. He maybe makes 2 more albums and he's a movie star. You
don't think Biggie falls off?
No, because it's nothing that he grew up to. He was rapping like that at 15. In order to fall off, you had to run up that mountain. There was no mountain. He just had that. So there was never going to be a fall off because he never climbed to get it. It was a gift instilled in him by the universe. So yes, he always has it. The problem is for me is as he's growing, as he has that gift, and he's the type that he's so good at the gift, he doesn't really have to improve. He just finds different ways to wordplay. As he has that gift, now other kids can see something to chase and surpass because he's not going to have to improve. And now he's the crown they're taking from. So kids will just pass him. But he's always going to be a legend if he survives. But kids will pass him because they have something tangible to chase.
Can we liken this to sport, though?
Yes, go for it.
He's doing the same moves.
Totally. But
okay.
So did Jordan. And he just perfected them.
Sure, but when he was playing with the Wizards, how many rings did they get?
It doesn't matter if you already have 6.
Did he break any world records when he was playing with the Wizards? Did he break any scoring title records or anything when he was with the Wizards?
Didn't have to.
Exactly. So who was running the game when he was with the Wizards?
Nobody. People still were looking at Jordan because his name was that big. Who
was winning the championships? I haven't watched basketball since the 90s.
Who was winning the championships back then? It had to be the Rockets, right?
Damn, so it's really like that.
I think it was like the Rockets. And here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Jordan, Jordan went out.
So he's putting butts in seats, but he's not actually operating the same. So meaning Biggie's still selling records in this hypothetical because we've reached another plane of consciousness right now and we're time traveling. So Biggie isn't rapping as good as, like, he's not getting better at rapping.
No,
he's done, but he's just selling records off of the fact that he's Biggie and people are going to go so they could sing along to the one verse of More Money, More Problems and whatever other songs he had that people really like.
He's always going to be able to rap. Mind you, he'll always have like a hit or two on the album because remember, as he progresses in this time traveling multiverse, as he progresses, he's running into Just Blaze. He's running into Alchemist. He's running into these people.
So how come this doesn't happen for the singers that we loved from the 90s?
Well, I mean, which singers? Like who?
Name them that are washed up now, and now we have to wait to watch them at the Paul Paul Theater to sing their songs from the 90s.
Because did they really have good songs? Like, let's be real. What 90s singer that had a crazy great first record actually fell off completely? Like a crazy
Duncan
good first
Sheik.
Record.
Brian McKnight.
He didn't fall. He made a few good records.
I just want to give a shout out to
Where's
the
he
dog
at?
barking in the background. He sounds awesome.
You could hear him? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding, man. It doesn't bother me at all.
I thought that was you, Dan.
Look, I was trying to guess what kind of dog it was.
He's huge.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break it up. I just like that dog's bark.
I could actually stop that real quick if you want.
No, dude, it's fine. It's fine.
He's not going to stop. And he won't stop because he can't stop.
I knew you were going to say something about that. Dan, what good 90s person, I'm talking about of all genres, made one incredible album and just disappeared? I can't think of one. They made a few after they did it. And they retired on their own. They're just like, they're done.
I imagine it's all subjective. And then what are you talking about big? You're talking about like Grammy awards?
All the way around. All good listening to, and it also wins Grammys. That's tough, right? And Milli Vanilli does
Anita Baker count?
Thank you. And she put out 6 more albums. And she sold out Staples Center recently.
I'm just throwing out names.
Everybody at that concert was over the age of 40.
Oh, that's right. You are an Anita Baker fan, huh?
I know. I heard him go,
so
ooh.
random. I forgot you text me that.
Oh,
How
yeah.
the crap does Daniel know? Oh, you said your mom used to listen to her.
My childhood, my mom's best friend when I was a kid. And
That's
her,
right.
like, that was the only tape.
Was she a sister?
Of course.
Of course she was. Yeah. Go on. I like your mom already.
Anita Baker was a sweet love, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. I love that song. Remember that kid, that video of the kid singing it?
No one hit me to that one, bro.
Nah.
You know, he's an Asian kid, like 7 years old, and he's at a talent show giving his all, and the people give him a standing ovation afterwards. I'm like, yeah, because he's singing "Sweet Love" by Anita Baker randomly. What the
Yeah.
crap is this kid? But yeah,
He just tapped into something primal there.
but see, that's what I'm saying. If you had a massive hit in the '90s and you won Grammys, you tended to keep on going. And then
Oh, for
today,
sure.
like look today.
Okay.
Sade had what, 4 great albums, and she could go today to Tower. What theater do we? She can go to Selland, and she would do well. At
She
Selland.
would do well at
Oh, yeah.
Shoreline.
Oh, that's a great. Thank you, Dan. She would kill it. She would, no question.
I think she could do the Staples Center, bro. On a tour,
No,
easy.
she could-
Okay, so
Oh, for sure.
I think
for
I'm
sure.
skewed on my view of like success and being washed up then, because you have a point and it's something that I totally ignored because I was just trying to be right in the argument instead of look at facts.
No, Dan, you don't do that. Don't do a smart human thing. You're supposed to react.
No,
You
hold
can't
up.
be smart
No, you was right though, because like so we're saying Big is still eating.
in this multiverse.
He's just not on TV. He's not on TikTok. None of that stuff. He's not on YouTube.
No,
No.
no.
But he's eating. And honestly, that is wild success in my mind. But I'm saying he's not, if he's alive in this multiverse, he's not out rapping J. Cole. Fight me.
My
me.
son is in love with he says he's the best lyricist right now.
He's the
That-
best everything. He has a
he
song.
can't-
One of his first singles was with Missy that I heard, and I was like, I'm sold.
That's why it's great, because Missy's on it.
Yeah.
Here's
sold.
the problem. Kendrick Lamar could out rap him.
So
So what do we
you know what Kendrick Lamar sounds like? He sounds like
Daniel,
he sounds like he's trying to rap J. Cole lyrics through Eminem's voice. That's what Kendrick Lamar sounds like.
Daniel, what are you talking? Okay, number one, you have to admit,
Let's go.
To Pimp a Butterfly was a work of art, dude.
Oh, he's amazing. I'm not saying Kendrick Lamar sucks at all. He's dope. I just don't like his voice. I prefer J. Cole. But Kendrick Lamar on paper will probably demolish anybody easily. No questions about it. But I would rather listen to J. Cole music.
I don't think he's messing with Jay.
J. Cole?
I don't think I don't think Kendrick's messing with Jay-Z.
Who?
You know what I just said, bruh?
This is 2020, man. You got to have more than.
Bruh.
You just hit him in the 40s right there, Daniel.
I'm not listening to that
Daniel,
anymore, dude.
I'm talking about lyric for lyric.
That was cool when I was in junior high, dude.
Daniel, did you listen to 444?
No.
Thank you. If you
Why
listen
would
to
I?
444
Why would I listen to that?
Because it's good, Daniel.
Yeah, you want me listening to good music now? I've been listening to Trap House. I've been listening to Trap House 3 for the past 5 years,
Oh,
which is a
Jesus.
Gucci Mane mixtape that came out in like
Jesus.
2012.
Jesus.
I
What are we
get
doing?
it's on repeat. It's on repeat.
Here's one we can agree on. How do you like Run the Jewels?
Eh.
Oh,
You did that on
now
purpose.
you're
You
shooting
did that
again.
on purpose.
Now you're
Trying to
shooting
get me back in. I'm not stupid, Steve. I'm not stupid. You're insulting my intelligence right now.
I'll be honest. I did that for the show. I haven't listened to enough to be a dickhead about it yet.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure 444 is outstanding, and I'm just being an idiot. I did listen to the Carters, a few songs off of that with him and Beyonce.
I didn't like
and
that. I didn't like that.
that song "Nice" is fire. That's my jam.
Now, do you seriously not like Run? So you haven't listened to Run the Jewels?
Nah. You know what's super sad? For as much music as I do and involved in and all that stuff, I'm not listening to new stuff very often. It's almost embarrassing. I'm exposed here, but my playlist is the same. I'm paying, I don't know, $10 a month to subscribe to some streaming service that barely pays me pennies for my plays. And I'm listening to the same 6-7 songs almost all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I have a playlist out called The Rook Show and Tour Drive. I have 2 of those in mind that I usually play that are basically been the same songs I've been listening to for the past 10 years. I'm a mess.
That's totally fair. And I mean, look,
I can't do anything right.
No, here's the thing. Like, the only reason I'm saying you should listen to, and I'm officially saying you should listen to Run the Jewels, is because you're going to appreciate the EQ that LP has on his drums.
LP's awesome.
That dude EQs his drums, because a lot of times people, not to get way in the weeds, a lot of times, I'll break it down for the listener. When you're doing drums and you want them loud, a lot of times it crowds the vocals big time. Like every time the bass hits, if the person happens to be singing or rapping during that time, you can hear the distortion immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. they compressed, and it's all coming up the middle, so they're all fighting for the same frequencies.
Yes. And you're like, dude, every time the bass hits, it's like, you're like, oh, you just didn't even, you're like, I'd rather the beat be crazy. And this is on some popular songs have this problem.
You could sign chain it, and it could duck whenever the vocals come in, so then they share the frequencies.
But sometimes that side chaining sounds way like
I don't even know how to do that crap.
No, it's because you can hear it. Side chaining, if you don't do it right, what side chaining is, ladies and gentlemen, is when something is really loud, it automatically lowers it and pushes up what isn't loud.
Yeah, I side chain every fucking week.
Oh, Dan, you're a genius. That's why I talk to you. But
so we're arguing about rap now.
No, I'm saying you should check out LP. Even the first song on the newest album, G, dude, that drum intro that LP accomplishes without it, and it's super loud. The drums are loud, but he has him and Killer Mike's vocals going, and that's the. You know what? I need to start giving LP props. His engineer we're talking about Ice Cube Predator level engineering, where it's like, oh, you want it like this? Okay, we'll just do that thing. And it's just
so magic.
Huge drums with these vocals coming through the middle where it's just like, I remember telling Dan, I was like, Dan, dude, when he played it for me on the show and he was like, are you really into it? And when it stopped, I was like, I'm in like yesterday.
Killer Mike can't miss when it comes to rapping too.
Okay, let's just calm down here. Let's just calm down here.
See, Steve gets him skewed. Like he can't take Killer Mike just for his rapping. He has to throw the politics in too.
Oh, he's doing stupid stuff on, man, I'm really just trying to stay off all that. It's depressing.
Well, no, it's not. I love Killer Mike's rapping. Okay, let's just go rap. That dude can rap. I think sometimes he tries to put a message more than his rapping nowadays. Before he didn't try to do that.
I can relate.
Dude, no, that's not true. I heard your recent stuff and you don't put, like, you know how to wave your message throughout your lyrics, G, and it's really good.
I appreciate that, but it is a struggle. And he always, to me, was message heavy.
But he used to be like, I'm lyric heavy and I'll put a message in there if it fits into my groove. One of these songs on this album, you're like, okay, you wrote the message before you wrote the rap. Because
he's with LP, man. He's got freedom.
The LP, man, that dude is
beast.
These, and that's the only reason I say listen to this album is because you are gonna get ideas.
Oh,
you'll
man.
get ideas for it.
Dude. I'm tired of getting ideas, dude. You know how much stuff that I'm doing right now that are ideas that I've gotten. I need to finish my 2018 ideas, dude.
Gee, I'm still trying to finish my freaking The Love Below ideas.
Man,
like that album made me be like, oh my God. I'm doing this all wrong.
Oh yeah, you sent me a couple of those.
Yes, yeah, I surely did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that.
I surely, you know exactly what I'm talking. It actually was like those are the ideas I got from The Love Below. I was like, oh, I love that, but I just never.
Man, you guys are gonna make me exercise my brain.
Gee, I promise you, Daniel, this LP it's worth listening. To this.
Can I just finish the stuff I'm working on, like in August?
I wish you would send Dan a few of the. Can you please send him the "You Ain't Crap Without Your Wi-Fi" song, please?
Unfollow? Yeah, I can.
Please send him unfollow. Yeah, Dan.
I'll send it to him if you say the actual lyric.
You ain't crap without your mom's Wi-Fi.
He said you ain't sniff without your Wi-Fi. You ain't skip without your mom's Wi-Fi. You ain't flip without your Wi-Fi.
Look, you know what I'm trying to say. I love that line, G. That line is so good. My son cracked up. He's like, that's funny.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you can rap, dude. You don't give yourself props, man.
You know what? It's a back burner thing. That's why. It's because I have like a band and I'm producing a record for a singer-songwriter and doing other things that involve just trying to make music the thing that I do, you know? Mm-hmm. So like, why would I rap? I feel like there may not be an audience for that. Compared to the other stuff that already has an audience that I'm involved in.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's where I wanted to jump in here. Because we're talking about you started off, you were playing for Keisha, and then you started doing your battle rapping. Now, how do you jump? I know you told the story about how you took to hardcore, but where does it come into where you're actually singing for a hardcore band? And by the way, we haven't even talked about your band yet. You want to talk about that?
We can, yeah, for sure.
Let's do that, man. I'm interested. I think people want to know.
I'd rather do that than argue with Steve about music because he's gonna win every time.
Before we start, are you okay with me calling it death metal or no?
It's not death metal, but it's not.
That's fair.
It's not for me to. That's not. I don't know. I don't trip on stuff like that. The fact that people are listening and trying to categorize it is dope to me.
I feel like we should do a comparison at some point. Maybe we should play a little bit of your stuff and then pull up something from like say, like Norwegian death metal.
What's death metal to you, Dan? Because see, that's the thing is you're actual metalhead, and so death metal for you will be a certain time frame, whereas modern death metal is so different, dude.
I'll be real. I'm not even into death metal that much, to be honest with you.
Me either.
I don't really care for it. It's like some matter of fact, I was driving around yesterday and I was listening to the Sirius, what is it? Liquid Metal, I think is the station on Sirius. And I was like kind of just catching up on shit I haven't heard. Heard some really good bands, by the way. But I'm talking death metal to me is when it's like full, and this is probably going to insult some death metal lover out there, but when you start getting into like the Cookie Monster growl, like when it's just almost like I think there's a lot of good death metal music, but it gets fucked up because it has that same growl all the time. Now, see, that sounds probably very biased for me to say that. It would be like saying that all country singers sound the same or something like that.
They do.
I agree, but I mean, with this,
you don't have any listeners from Clovis. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we might have one, but they're cool. They're cool. They just moved there because rent's cheap. I think that
they live on Shaw. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. To me, death metal, because I come from like the 80s and stuff like that, or in the 90s, and to me, death metal is going to be stuff like all that Norwegian shit, like Mayhem. But then again, you have stuff like 6 Feet Under, Cattle Decapitation, maybe. Nah, not even Cattle Decapitation.
Open for Cattle Decap.
Did you?
Yeah.
Would you consider them? What would you consider them more? Like more hardcore?
I'd say death metal. Death
metal, but there's something about them that they're not quite the full on, like straight up, everything's blast beats the entire time, or,
Yeah. Well, I don't even know what categorizes death metal. To me, it's content. And that's the same with hardcore. Like, to me, what categorizes hardcore is the actual content. For instance, our band is more metal sounding to some people than it is actually hardcore. But my delivery and the message behind my songs, the delivery behind my songs, my content of lyrics push it towards hardcore as opposed to metal or death metal.
Yeah, lyrical content makes a big part of it too.
Big time. I think that's where like Cattle Decap falls into the death metal category. Or you look at their branding, their styling of like the actual death on their products,
or like their logo. You have that weird logo that you can't read that usually falls into it.
It's just freaking looks like an old leather seat. Or something.
Yeah, it looks like a spider. It looks like Zuckerman's famous pig, Spiderweb from Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, it looks like the back of my neck when I look up.
What is Cattle Decap?
Cattle Decapitation. They're a vegetarian. They're a vegetarian death metal band.
You see the irony?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Cattle Decapitation.
So my little vegan straight edge hardcore band back in 2004 opened for them, which was hilarious. Just jumping around stage, being all preachy and mean.
And how was the reception?
Weighing, probably bad, but I didn't care. I knew everything. This is 2004, so right before I was, around actual musicians with Steve and them. So that was the first band I sang for, by the way. I was playing bass for a metal band first. And that's why I was able to play all the weird stuff you're doing, because my bass parts were just copying whatever the guitar player was doing.
Which makes total. And so from there, while you were doing this, did you think, I want to get my own band together one day?
No.
Or you're just like, I'll just play bass for the whole time.
I was the least talented one in that group, my first group where I played bass. I was the least talented one. I knew the least about music. I done some trumpet in elementary and junior high, but this was all by ear. But I did notice that I liked arranging stuff. I had ideas for songs. I had things as I progressed with this band. But for me, I just wanted to play. So I was just with my friends playing. So the other band developed because we just wanted to jam. A friend had a drum set and some amps, and I had been playing some guitar. And so I was writing riffs, and we started a band. And I started singing for that band because the singer we picked wouldn't write lyrics, had no rhythm, And then when I started writing lyrics for him, he had to question everything. And I'm
Oy.
like, and we already had everybody else in the band could play something else because the music wasn't that good or that difficult to actually where you need somebody specialized. You know what I mean? So like, though I wrote a lot of the drum and guitar parts for that band, I ended up doing vocals for it because I was writing lyrics like crazy. From coming from being an MC, this was easy. This was super easy because I didn't even have to rhyme.
They either loved you or hated you, Daniel. You know what I mean? Like if you're given that much creativity to one band, did they love you for it or did they hate you for it? Was it, you know what I mean?
Probably loved me first and then hated me later when I'm trying to make things good.
I understand that, bro.
I was actually after our first tour, the band broke up, and I guess I was blamed for some of it because I was pretty mean. But I was 19. I was 19 years old, and the age range was between 16 and 19, I think. And these idiots, I had no help booking. I had no help doing anything, and they ran out of money on the way up to the first show. And then I had to feed these children for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be mean too.
Jesus.
You're trying to handle your business, and you got your babysitting at the same time, right?
And it's punk rock / hardcore, so it's not even actual business. I saved like a G or two as a 19-year-old to do this tour. I went up there in my Chevy Malibu, and I went all the way up to Spokane, Washington, and down in the matter of 2 weeks because all the shows fell through. I had no idea about booking. This is before Facebook and smartphones. Everything was word of mouth. And didn't tour. That wasn't even a tour. It was a run. We think we only played 3 shows in the matter of 2 weeks. It was a vacation. It was whack. I didn't go on tour. I didn't go on tour again until 2014, 2015, I think.
And that was a
Something like
legit tour.
Debatable. We could talk about that. that first one was debatable as hell.
Well, and so when does Farooq come into, like,
Okay.
I don't know which one of you guys named it.
Okay,
or
so
women. I don't know if it's women or men in the.
let's fast track this journey.
Yeah, let's
then.
focus on Farooq.
Playing bass for a metal band. I start my own band with some friends at 19, and that runs for a couple of years and breaks up gross. And then I'm like, I'm gonna do rapping. I'm sick of being in a band. But then I started another one with some other friends, and then that breaks up gross too. But at that time, I'm interning at a recording studio. This is now 2005-ish, 2004. So this is when I meet Steve. I'm singing for that band as well because again, I'm the least talented one on all the instruments, but I can write songs. It's basically I'm creative, but my hands don't have the chops to keep up with these other dudes that this is all they do. Yeah. And I'm the one guy that conceptualizes songs and write lyrics like crazy to where like I have more lyrics than we have instrumentals, you know? So that happens 2006-ish. I start playing with Keisha. I start focusing more on production and rap because I'm interning at a shady recording studio, really horrible one. But I learned some stuff and then I'm like, I'm just going to do rap. I'm tired of having a band. And then I break my hand, so I can't play with Keisha anymore.
I remember that.
And at that point, I'm playing drums for a band, I'm singing for a band, and I'm playing bass for Keisha. And then I break my hand and I just go into hiding and I just go into producing and writing lyrics. And that's maybe around 2007, between 2007 and 2010. Between that time, I'm engaged, married, and miserable, but still trying to like rap. And I'm putting out little like solo rap stuff. And then people are asking for reunion shows for my old bands that broke up like 7 years prior.
Wow.
So I get some friends together that aren't in those bands because again, broke up gross. We start playing reunion shows, and then Phil Camacho, who's like my that's my dog, man, my brother. I brought him in to play guitar for those bands because he was in one of them. And so we would do these combo sets of both bands. And it was a mixture of all the members of the bands that weren't scumbags. And we'd play our old songs from the two bands. So we did a couple of those. And then Phil was like, yo, we should start a band. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm over it. Like, I can't babysit nobody no more. And he's like, I'll help. And me and him were like the responsible ones, you know? We were the two parents in our bands, respectively.
Everyone has one, yeah.
Right. So with two of us, we were like a super group already. So we try to recruit people. We start writing riffs back and forth in like 2009-ish, 2010. Mm-hmm. And then by early 2011, we get a bass player, which is a friend that used to follow our bands around when we were kids, Matt Olson, old Pappy. And then one of our old drummers from one of our bands who Phil had not been in contact with for years, but I had recently gotten in contact with and showed him the demos of what would be Farooq. So I showed him 3 songs, but he didn't know I was recruiting him. I wrote the songs with the drum style that he had back in the day.
Smart.
And he hadn't drummed for a good 5 or 6 years. And he was like, who's playing drums for this? And I'm like, I don't know. We're looking. And he's like, I want to do it. And I'm like, all right, get your shit together. Because Phil is in the band and Phil's not going to parent you anymore. You need to get it together. And he's like, all right. He brought his drum set. He learned everything and became a founding member of Farooq. And actually, Eric, E-Ball, E-Honda, Daddy Jupiter, all his AKAs, he actually named Farooq we had to change our name because our first name was going to be Gauze. And then we found out there's like a grindcore band from Japan called Gauze. And so we're like, okay, can't be that. So the 3 of us grew up on Attitude Era Pro Wrestling, WWF, WWE, WCW, NWO, all that stuff. So we wanted a wrestling name because all 3 of us, the founding members, were into wrestling. And so we went through a bunch of names. Sharpshooter and Figure 4 was already a band, really dope hardcore band. Crossface was a local from around there. And referencing Chris Benoit at the time was probably a bad idea. So, so we're thinking of, all these names. And then it gets quiet and E-Ball's at the drums and he's like, yo, Farooq. And we're like, yo, that sounds tight. Because to us, Farooq has a certain energy in it already. Because Farooq, the pro wrestler, Ron Simmons, was this badass. One of the first world heavyweight champion in WCW. He beat Vader with a power slam, changed the world, as Ron Simmons. Then he goes to WWF. He's Farooq. He's this dude who in his faction, the Nation of Domination, was basically like a Black Panther Party dude. But it was basically like that. Like that was like what they were trying to do. But I remember being young and being like, this guy's, he's supposed to be a bad guy. But like 1, he's a killer. He's a badass. But 2, like he's not really lying. and they jump people. And they do things the way they want because they don't like the system. And he's not really rocking with the system. I saw that as a youngster. I was like 12 or something, maybe a little older. And so like now fast forward to we're in our mid 20s in 2010 and he's like Farooq. And we're like, yo, that's kind of tight. And Philly was like, yeah, I'm rocking with that. And we looked up different spellings of Farooq. Farooq from WWF/WWE is with 2 A's, his original spelling. We did it with 1 A because in a dialect of Arabic, it means discerning the truth from falsehood. So it kind of went with our lyrical content because my songs were kind of about life and friendships and lost friendships and the government and the media's control over people and all this, the woke stuff that I was weird about, 5 years before. But now 5 years later, I'm getting to really verbalize it. So we write songs and we get named Farooq. We look it up and we run with it. And our first gig was on October 30th or so, 2011 at the Pile Driver Pro Wrestling Show at formerly Dan Gamble's Health and Racket in their gymnasium.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Q97's own Danny Salas got us the gig. He's a friend of mine. Sorry, I just football spiked that name on your show.
No worries. We're getting way local, but that's okay because I'm interested. Keep talking.
He's like, yo, like I dig what you guys do. He was doing ring announcing for the company and was like, I can get you guys a spot to play. It's an audience. And I'm like, let's do it. So we play our first 6 songs there and pass out CDs. And then we just kept rolling, man. We just kept writing music.
And how's that go over? You're playing your first gig. You're at a wrestling show, you said?
Acoustics are terrible. We're in a gymnasium. We just set our stuff up and plugged it in. And there wasn't much of a crowd there for us. Nobody, of course, being a hardcore band and a metal band, you want people to move. None of that happens because they're like, why is this 5'6", 130-pound dude dressed as Harry Potter because it's a Halloween show yelling at us? I'm not much of a vocalist at the time, so I'm sure I don't sound great. And I'm just flying around. I'm kicking chairs down. I'm doing all of our thing. And it just like we were performed on the side of the ring, just off to the side somewhere. They didn't really pay us any mind much. And we did it and we got it out of our system. And then we just started playing shows like earlier in 2012. We started really playing shows in the local scene.
Jesus.
Playing little punk rock venues and stuff.
At what point do you start getting noticed to where your shows are starting to fill up you're going from a wrestling event to where it's like your own show now. You're getting a few people, maybe you're opening up at first but when you get your first show where you guys are the headliners, if you will, what's the numbers like?
We were playing a small venue a lot called the Chinatown Youth Center, and we were playing like these little house parties our friends were putting on. And it was hard to really get a following because the local scene at that time was geared towards some more modern stuff, and we were kind of a little bit of a throwback stylistically because we were playing what we liked, and we played like an influence of what we grew up on. So it was like Madball and Hate Read and the Red Chord and these bands that aren't really in as much prominence now or even then as they were, when they started. So like it was kind of weird because people were like, what is this? But it's kind of dope. I'd say maybe 2013 we start stealing shows. So we're not actually like headlining much. In those local scenes, the headliners usually, like some of the time it's like, well, it's a Wednesday. Can you guys headline? Because the actual headliners want to get to their next city early and you guys are local and nobody's going to stick around. So can you guys play last? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was that type, like headlining wasn't always the thing, but what was happening is we were booked in the middle because what was happening in 2012 and some of 2013 was they'd make us play first. People would show up for us and they'd say, oh, Farooq already played. And then they'd dip.
That's dope.
And so like, or they'd be like, why'd you guys play first? And I'm like, yo, we're locals. We're not about to tell them when we're going to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2013 rolls around. I think it's around 2013, 2014. We start stealing shows, meaning we're put in the middle of the bill, but we're completely exhausting the crowd. And then the band that has to follow us is usually having a hard time.
Man, I love that when that happens too. This is where you're starting to take control.
Well, we're also playing a non-air conditioned little punk rock venue in downtown Fresno. So people need to go outside after our set and breathe.
You're like, that was a lot.
Yeah. So
that's good.
But we did that. I remember us doing that in Bakersfield around that time too, where like we traveled and the kids that put on this little house party show, they were being punks and they were like, well, this band doesn't want to play yet because there's not enough people here. And I'm like, hey, you told us our set time was at 8. That's not my problem, bro. They need to play. They're from around here. We're not, and like, well, they're not going to play. And I'm like, well, all of our members aren't here. It's a back and forth. And finally I'm like, fuck it, let's play. And so we played. And we did the same thing we do at home, where we played in the middle, we exhaust the crowd, and then you have to follow us. And at this point, I think what people didn't realize is by 2011, most of us are veterans when it comes to this live music thing. So 2012, they're like, oh, what's up with this new band that's getting all these cool spots and cool shows? Because my homie John was booking us on these really good shows, and people were kind of salty. And it's like, oh, you don't realize that we were doing this in 2006 as well. We just have a new band. We're not new. The band is new.
That's real. Dude.
You're seasoned.
Our set, yeah. And you know what? I was doing stuff that I learned from Steve when it came to musical directing, when it was tying songs together and knowing when to ring stuff out and controlling the crowd and all these other things. I was doing that in the hardcore and punk rock scene. So we didn't have a local opener set. We had a touring band set at 2013. We had our songs tied together. We knew our set. We weren't guessing. We weren't doing that local band thing. Oh, what's next? We weren't doing none of that.
Yeah, looking at each other, being like, "Hey, what's next? 1, 2, 3." Like,
That was that. But maybe a year of that, and then we were up out of there because we have friends from out of town. We were playing out of town. We were about to go out of town and rep our city wrong like that. That's a big no.
That's real. Because I remember when you text me, "Hey, just got back from tour," I was like, "Let's just pause this conversation and not walk over that as if everyone goes on tour." What the crap? Like, I didn't know that there was touring like that.
Yeah.
And here's what I really knew. Like, I'm like, oh, Daniel is super a thing. I was at church playing, and a friend of mine named Cole, we always talk music after church, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to see my friend's band. He's a local hardcore. Or I didn't even think I said it right. I was like death metal band. And Cole was like, really? Because he had a CD from his band. Yeah.
Cole's one of the kids that used to kick it at Chinatown Youth Center when, like in 2012, 2013.
And so Cole's like, what's the band called? And I was like, oh, it's my boy Daniel's band. And he stops. He said, are you talking about Farooq? I used to go to Farooq shows. That's dope. They're still killing it. I'm like, this is the Twilight Zone. You know Farooq? He's like, yeah, Daniel. I know Daniel.
We cut our teeth at the venue that he used to kick it at as a kid.
I text him. He'll remember me. And I text you. You're like, oh yeah, nice kid. The bass
sweetheart.
And so I'm the only one outside of this circle. I'm the only one that didn't know these people. He's like, yeah, we know each other, dude.
It's kind of like a little club, man.
Yes, exactly. And he's vegan too. I'm like,
of course he is. I didn't even know that, but of course he is.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, but he's like, yeah, Farooq. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said, are you talking about Farooq? Because I would know. He's like, wait a minute, wait.
Yeah.
What? And so that's what I knew. Oh, people know Farooq. They know who you are, dude.
Which is wild. Because we're just focused on touring, because the local scene at a certain level, if you're not in with the right people or playing the trendy kind of music, certain venues are not going to book you, especially if you bring a crowd that likes to move around and run into each other. Stage dive, if you're yelling at everybody, like, it's an acquired taste, and I get it. You know what I mean? So like, we were playing out of town between 2014 and today, most likely more than we were playing in our own city, especially our own, I would consider our home venue, the Chinatown Youth Center, because we would go where we were asked to play. So it wasn't like we were out begging for shows. I'd try to get on some good shows for us and try to get us to new people, but more than anything, it was like, yo, we got this going. You guys want to do it? And we'd figure it out and make it happen. So a lot of between 2014 and now is people hitting us up, which is so sweet. Like, what a privilege to be thought of and to be asked, as opposed to having to get your name in. You know what I mean?
Right. Having to sell yourself. People are coming to you.
But it was a lot of what it was people would come from out of town and be like, oh, I know a band from Fresno. It was Farooq. And it's because we were going to Bakersfield and San Jose and Sacramento. And we played Reno real early on. Like 2012, I think we played in Reno, and we played in Tijuana a few times. Like, we were doing that instead of playing our home venue every day like we did our first few years.
I don't know if you have other albums, but I'm looking at 3 of them right now. And the first one that I see, actually, there's 2 from the same year, The Truth and The Faction. Are those the first things that you put out commercially, or are you burning your own CDs and selling them at shows?
Yeah, actually. So like, in this time, let's see, the timeline, we're like between 2014 and now, right?
Yeah.
So 2011, we burned CDs immediately, because even as a hip hop artist, battle rapper, whatever, I would not do anything live without something to hand to somebody.
Smart.
So we recorded a terrible demo of our first 6 songs, which were good songs, but I did the drums on Fruity Loops off of drum samples, and we just did it all ourselves, and it was good enough. But I got those CDs out. So between 2012 and 2014, we're passing those out. And we made another demo, I think around 2014, called Gas Brake Dip, because it was another 3 songs. 2015 happens, and we're like, we need to put out an album. We have like 12 songs that we're playing live. We have 9 of them that are out there in some way, shape, or form, not on like Bandcamp and on home burnt CDs with me making the packaging and doing the design work terribly.
Yeah.
So we decided to record The Truth in 2014. We actually released it in 2015, but we did it through CD Baby, and our thing expired, so we re-released it on 2017 on the digital platform. So that's why they have the same year on it. But actually, 2015 is The Truth, and it's a 13-song album with better recorded versions of our first 6, our next 3, and then another 4 that we wrote together. Because the first 6, me and Phil wrote together, and sometimes we wrote them by ourselves, and put them together on guitar and whatnot. The next 3 were me, Phil, and Eric, and then the next 4 after that were all of us and our bassist / guitar player, Pappy. Also like contributed here and there. So that's how The Truth came out. And that was actually 2015. And we did that through CD Baby. We pressed up CDs ourselves. We lost all the money on them. And sold them everywhere we could go. They're in horrible jewel cases. Jewel cases are a terrible idea, guys. Don't do that.
Okay. Good to know.
That was our first one. And then The Faction came out in 2017. And those were songs that we wrote in 2014, because these guys are just songwriting maniacs. They're so talented. I believe I'm still the least technically talented one in the group. Technically, I can. My creativity keeps me up with them, but technically, like chops, skills, nah. But I just have a big picture brain. I can't shred, but I have a big picture brain that can turn the shred into a story. You know.
Okay. Well, I want everyone to check out all of Farooq's albums. I want them to check everything you do. I want them to check out. Go to iTunes is safe, right?
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, Deezer. It's all out through all the major streaming platforms. Both of those, The Faction actually is what got us our record deal, which was dope too, because we were touring on that album.
Now this brings us to the 2018 album. Was it 2018 where you guys did Heat?
Yes.
How long were you writing for that one?
Yo, this one's wild because I'm so proud of Heat. I'm very happy with it. I think that if that's the only thing I do from here on in, I won't be mad, you know? So we do The Faction. The Faction is mostly songs from 2014 and 2015, but money's difficult to come up with to put out albums. So we record it all ourselves, and then we send it to this engineer, Zach Oren, at Sharkbite Studios. And I think formerly Castle Ultimate. He's so talented. He's done, I think he worked on Machine Head's music as well. He's an engineer for that. So he's like no slouch, and we paid whatever he wanted to mix and master the album that we recorded ourselves. He did an outstanding job with The Faction, way better than anybody else could have ever done on Earth. So The Faction comes out, and we're touring on that. We're playing our awesome tour-ready sets. We run into this band called Sworn Vengeance, which is actually a influence of mine. They're a Bay Area, Oakland-based metallic hardcore band from like the late 90s. And I lost my shit because I was like, yo, one of your songs influenced everything I do today that I heard on like a compilation. And we're actually playing with them just by chance. I didn't know who these guys were. And their guitarist, Keith Glacier, they all take a liking to us. So we become like this. We're like their little brother band. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because again,
now you're chilling with one of your hero bands. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Which is a trip. And they're digging what we do, but it's like, dude, I'm doing like what I saw Ryan doing, their singer. Like his voice and his flow is part of my genetic makeup as a vocalist. Mm-hmm. And I had to show, when I met him, I was like, holy shit, dude, I need to show you some love. And he was like, oh, word. And he's this outstanding graphic designer and just this awesome dude. He took a liking to us. So we start playing shows with them. He helps us book a show or two on our tour in 2017. Yeah, 2017. I want to say 2016. Holy crap. There's a lot of tours because I also went out on tour in late 2017 to tour with Criminals as their bass player. So nice. What is my life? Anyways, we meet up with them and we're touring on The Faction now. And it's our first tour with the album, but our second with some of those songs. And Keith pulls me aside on our show in Reno and he's like, hey, how's The Faction doing? And I'm like, I don't know about sales, man, but like we're selling merch and the crowd seems to be digging it. And we seem to be steadily building. I'm happy with it, man. Like this is the best we can do right now. And he's like, well, keep it under wraps, but I'm starting a label and I want you guys to be on our roster. I want to put out an album for you guys.
That's dope.
And we're like, oh shit. And I'm like, wow, what? Like Glacier Eater, his band Glacier Eater, wildly talented, so good they could do whatever they want. Sworn Vengeance, to me, the dads of West Coast metallic hardcore. They broke down doors and they did a lot of dirt to where bands like us don't have to do that kind of dirt no more.
Nice.
You know what I mean? They really were in the trenches, really paving the way for us. And he was like, let me know how everything goes. Let's talk numbers and everything when you get home from this tour. And we'll see if we can't get an album out for you guys or what, talk to the guys. And so we do that tour. I talked to Philly because me and him are the executors of this whole deal. The guys are down for whatever. And they're like, what? We get to write new music finally? Because mind you, 2017, these songs for The Faction are 3 years old. We're almost tired of them.
You're like, let's get this going on the road.
The other guys are like, when can we write new music? And I'm like, can we pay off this debt from this album first? Like that we just put out? Like, y'all don't want your money back? All right, cool. Let's write new music, Plus, at this time in 2017, we're getting asked to play a lot of shows, which is dope too. And most of the time we don't want to say no because it's friends from out of town playing our city that want to play with us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or friends that are bookers of ours that we just love. So we're not going to tell them no. Like John from A Religious Appeal / Numbskull, we're not going to tell him no. That's my Juanito. I've known him since I was 17, dude. I'm never going to tell him no.
You got to treat him like family, man.
Yeah, that's my brother, man.
But how do you tour and write a new album, though?
Yeah, unless you don't have a job, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
And we all had full-time jobs. A couple of the guys that had kids, like it was real. It was really real.
Yeah.
So Philly made a dad move, and he's like, yo, if we're going to do this label deal, no shows. I don't care. I don't care who it is. They're going to have to wait. And if they don't understand that we're writing an album for a possible record deal, then they're not even our friends anyways. And I'm like, facts. So Philly always has the right presence of mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we meet with Keith. We get off a tour in August. We meet with Keith in October. We figure out our plans. And he's like, October of 2017, he says, September maybe, can you guys have an album ready to record by March or April of 2018?
Okay.
So that's
5
or 6 months.
Yeah, but you've got songwriters on your team that are just busting their ass constantly, right?
But we have 0 songs written.
Oh, that's going to be a beast, dude.
So there's no pressure.
Not even a little bit.
And you have to tell them, totally, got it. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, what you want? What you want next after that?
Yeah, next.
On a brand new label, we're their first release. So Philly's like, I think I could do it. We got a lot of songwriting to get done. And I'm like, I know I can do it. Pressure is my life. Let's do this. You know what I mean?
Some people work better under pressure.
And Philly is a beast, man. He can write songs by himself if we let him, and if he wants to. He can do anything. So he's busting these out, and they're so good. They're so much better than I could do. And this is what he did to me in the Faction too. When we decided to do the Faction, he wrote 4 songs by himself with riffs we had been sending him, and then just showed them to us all done, complete instrumentals. And he's like, we're writing a new album.
Then you guys are good. You guys are going to finish 12, 13 songs.
No, because he's writing 4 bangers, and then he's like, your guys' turn, and then we got to rise to the occasion. So he's doing this to us for Heat too. So he's showing me Heat, and I'm like, holy shit, dude. So like a few of the songs I wrote for us, like it's me trying to do my best Phil Camacho impersonation on guitar. Which
is fair. That's how it goes.
It ain't happening though, man. Okay. I'm going to try.
You don't give yourself enough props, dude.
Man, creativity is everything. That's my hustle, right? That's my sauce is what it is. I may not be able to rhyme a bunch of words with the word Karen, but I have sauce. That's exactly.
That's all that matters, G. And I'll be the one rapping Karen with everything in the world.
No, that's horrible. So we go in, man, starting in October. Now I go on tour with Criminals in November. By November, between me, Phil, and E-Ball, we have, I think, 8 or 9 instrumentals.
Oh, you're ready.
That Philly ends up sending me. So I'm out on tour with 8 or 9 instrumentals, like rough instrumentals between all of us. In, I want to say 2 or 3 months, we knocked those out. So now I have to write lyrics. I have to conceptualize this album. And I like telling these stories, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I like trying to liken stuff to wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm out on tour with Criminals. It's hard to write. It was a tough tour. It was out in the wintertime in a van. Hard to stay focused. I get home. We still need a few more songs. I have a facility now that I can like record in, like a studio. So I brought the music into there, and I just sat in that studio and just wrote lyrics.
That's it.
Just went to work.
That's it.
And that's how Heat happened. And we were ready right in time to record. I think we recorded in April at Sharkbite Studios in Oakland with Zach, which was our dream engineer that mixed and mastered our other EP. He's now doing the entire thing for Heat.
Oh, so you're ready. So you're excited. Everything works perfectly.
He's done the records that influenced us over the years too. So like we went to him because he's like the bands that fathered our style, like First Blood and Animosity from the Bay Area. Like he was doing their early songs that we were listening to coming up.
That's dope. Shit.
And now he's where he's at because he's a literal genius, dude. He's brilliant. And we get to be in the same room as him making music.
That is so. And so when it's done and you're doing, because this is the worst part of doing a CD. Everybody, the worst part about doing a CD is doing the final listen. Because you're just waiting for something to not quite be like, we got to go in and redo this. We got to go in and redo this. We got to go in and.
I'm a burst your bubble player. I'm going to burst your bubble. You work with a guy like Zach Oren. I hope I'm saying his last name right. There is none of that, dude. He's outstanding from jump.
I'm saying lyrics. Like,
oh no. Okay, so this is what I did. Here's some secret sauce for all of you aspiring musicians. So since the guys had instrumentals by October, in January, I want to say, we started doing mock recording sessions as a full band. So we had Eric playing to the metronome, to the click track, playing these songs in our own controlled environment as if it was a recording session. So we had him doing that 2 months before we even go into the studio with Zach. We're doing our own. Philly's doing the same with the guitars. We're doing the same with the bass player. We're doing all of it. We're doing all these rough recordings. And then I'm also laying down my vocals in this setting in a rough manner, listening back. And at that point saying, I got to redo this. I got to fix that. I got to redo this. I got to fix that.
That's the smart way to do it.
By the time I get my 8 hours to do my 10 songs at Shark Bite, I'm 99.9% memorized. I know exactly how I want this engineered. I know when to layer. I know what to tell Zach, because you can't go in there with Zach and fake the funk and say, I don't know. Sometimes with engineers like him, you can't even ask questions, dude. One time I asked him something. He's like, why are you asking me that? And I was like, oh shit, you right, bro. All right. Well,
I should know this. Yeah.
Well, it's a thing. He's the engineer. He's got to do whatever you're doing to make it sound like good. And if it don't sound good, like, he's going to tell you. But then also, like, if you don't got your vision together, he's not going to give you the vision. He's not a producer. He's an engineer.
And an engineer is everything. Like, if you're just like,
dude,
I remember, well, if you have a really good engineer and you're like, hey, can you do that sound effect thing that does this thing, the thing, they'll be like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I could do that. Instead of being like, what's the word for it? You're like, I don't know but they'll be able to be like, oh yeah, we can do that. No problem. Yeah. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And then it just starts speeding through. But for me, it's just like, I'll always think about a lyric that I could have said a year later. I'll be like, you know what, that would have gone so much. But at a certain point, you just have to release it. You'll be like, for that time, that's what you felt. Maybe a year later, you look back and be like, this would totally have rhymed better with that. Be like, yeah, but that's not what you were feeling a year ago.
Absolutely.
You were feeling that. And now if you hold on to that, you're just going to keep on redoing it because you're always going to feel different.
Yeah.
So you guys did it smart, doing it in 5 months. This is what you're feeling. If you remix the song now, it would sound different.
Possibly. We've toured off of it a couple of years now. We do have a little bit of a different energy on some of the songs, but it's kind of just because that's what we want to do. This is our music. You know what I mean?
And that's for me, I just don't like the fact that you tour, because I could not tour. The fact that you tour is just incredible. For me, it's like I've never played a live quote unquote show, except being a band.
Come on.
I've only done the band director. That's easy. Being a band director is cake. But being the person, I don't know how you do it.
I got a question for you, Steve, not to take it away from Daniel for a second, but you got me thinking. So you got this album that's supposed to be coming out. By the way, we're supposed to be hearing something, our Patreon crowd may be hearing something within, the countdown's on. So we're looking at like 20 days now.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. But I'm curious about something. So this is going to come out when it comes out. When it does, will you do live shows?
I've never done a live show, Dan. I don't even know where I would start. I can't click my heels.
I know a guy.
Jump.
Quit making excuses, because I know a guy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
No, legit. I don't know how to, like, I don't even know how to dance and, hey guys, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know how to do all that stuff.
You're way too talented for that, bro. I got you. Don't worry about it.
I think you could actually just come out and pull that move where you just play the music, maybe do a couple of thank yous, something like that, just to get your feet wet.
Yep.
And then you'll find your personality on stage.
I hate...
What? Always you get choked up, man. I think there's a...
This fool turns into the scat man.
People, I'm just like, could I do... I mean, it's easy to play behind people, get the band together, kill, but it's like, could I really do that? I don't know. Like, I guess time will tell.
I'd be there supporting you in the front row.
I appreciate that.
Right up against
you
the
know
stage.
What? 3 people in the audience, I'm fine. I am good, dude. I wouldn't mind that at all.
It's happening. It's happening. He's gonna have to hide from me for this to not happen. Because fun fact, I do a lot of our booking, man. I've been doing our booking. I've booked some of the tours we've been on. Like, it's been,
dude.
Yo, boy.
Dan, let me tell you something. Every week for like years, at least, Daniel gives his once a week when's the album dropping text.
I don't blame him. I'm doing the same text.
Now it's turned, the verbiage is not when is it dropping, because now I know what it takes to put the stuff out, and it sucks and it's difficult. So now what can I do to help this get
every
out?
Single week, dude?
What?
But like, how do I make this happen? How do I make this happen?
And let me ask you, are you taking the help?
I am taking, well, now it's one of those things where like Daniel's a person I trust. So it's a lot easier for me to be like, all right, let's do it. Fine, I'm just going to release it. Because a lot of people are like, hey, well, dude, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, I don't trust you or your ideas. And I don't ask you for opinions about where to get my car serviced. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely not going to ask you for opinions about this thing.
That "you should do" phrase is a dangerous one, too. I try not to be doing that. I caught myself earlier that maybe Patreon exclusive will get that. But it was before we started. I caught myself on a "you should." I said, what? I changed it to "what you could."
Well, but I trust you because you'll be like, you're not going to, like, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, give it to Joe around the corner and he'll pass it out of his truck. No, you'd be like, no, this is how I've released albums. So this is how you do it. You do it like this. Trust me, because there's some things I don't know. And Daniel would just be like, trust me. This is how, I promise you.
And I think you should.
This is the easy way. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Got to work with some cool indie labels through my hip hop stuff. Hypergiant Records in 2013, 2014 showed me a lot of the game. And Glacier Recordings took us in and really like me and Keith were real close. I was staying at his house for a little bit, working in the Bay Area. Like Keith is my brother, man. So like he's put down on a lot of knowledge. I found a local indie label for a local singer that used to play the metal shows with us that I book. You could tell I'm booking a show when JD Garza is on it. If you see the name,
good, dude.
If you see the name JD, he's a singer-songwriter that I met through the metal scene, who's also just one of these multifaceted, super talented storytelling dudes with an amazing voice. He had approached me last year asking if I could help book him or manage him. And I wasn't really, I don't even like doing that for myself. And I was like, I don't, I could, but you need a record, dude, you know? And I'm like, let me help you get a record out and let me produce it for you. And so I produced a song for him called Into the Woods. And I helped him forge a partnership with this local indie label called On Captain Recordings. And they agreed to put out the song for him. And they've been our bridge to get to digital distribution. And my partnership with On Captain is dope because now JD has a partnership with them. So it was kind of like the same thing with Steve. Like, I told JD, what do you need to get your music out? And he's like, well, I need recording and I need all this other stuff. And I said, okay, well, I have access to that myself. Let's produce you a record. Let me produce a song for you. And so he let me have one of his songs to produce. Did that. On Captain agreed to put it out. And then they agreed to put out an EP for him, which I'm producing the whole thing of now.
This dude, right?
And now I have this partnership with On Captain Recordings that I might be able to get somebody else with if he wants to, make a couple of songs.
Well, here's the thing. I've realized something about myself in the last few years. I've been trying to be like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. I've realized I can only focus on music. That's it. I'm not one of those. Some people can do their label, do their albums, do their writing, do this, and also handle the bit. I'm like, I can't do that with a full-time job.
If it wasn't for Hypergiant, On the Clock wouldn't have come out. And if it wasn't for Glacier Recordings, Heat would not have happened. None of it would have happened.
There's too much stuff, dude, that you have to know. And if you're like, I'll just skimp on it, 20 years down the road, you're going to be like, I really shouldn't have skimped on that stuff.
Prime example, man. Prime example. The Faction was ready to go out in 2015, dude. The Faction was ready to come out. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The Truth came out in 2013. My apologies.
2013.
I had to fact check myself. The Faction was ready in 2015, but because we're booking, we're writing, we're trying to manage our personal lives, putting out the music itself, actually putting it out, doing all the paperwork and getting it to digital distro and doing the research behind that, knowing nothing about it, not being in the field, not knowing anything about that side of it. It took 2 years.
Dude.
You know what I want to do?
Huh.
I want to do something that we've never done before, Steve. And I don't know. I guess it's really going to depend on Daniel, actually.
Matt?
Yeah.
Would you mind if we played one of your songs?
Not at all. I'd appreciate it, actually.
I'm thinking, I'll let you pick. You want to go Heat?
It's got to be Heat, dude. It's got to be Heat. No offense to The Truth. We did The Truth in my bedroom, and it was fire. But Heat is the evolution, and it's dope because in Heat, I call back to The Truth and The Faction. And those 3 albums relate in a wrestling sense too, which is dope. But it has to be Heat. Heat is what got me here. Heat is what got me here.
Steve, have you heard Farooq yet? Have you really paid attention to Farooq at all?
I have, only because it's Dan.
Okay, all right. And I believe that.
Steve be listening to our demos and shit.
Yeah.
So what song should I go with?
The thing about us is we are kind of mood music, and you know your listeners. I feel like the most palatable one for a wide audience has always been Get to Work. We shot a music video with our homie Jake. My buddy Jose edited it for us, and our buddy Kitty helped out. That's got a music video, and it's out there, and it's fun, and it's not so mean and aggressive and about the government trying to screw you over. I feel like that one's the one.
Okay.
So we can go there, but we can also go to Owned, which is the first song off of which is super intense. First song I recorded in the studio there at Shark Bite. Cried during it because it was just such a weird time. The song calls back to a song called the song's called Owning It. This calls back to a song called Own that's on The Truth.
Oh,
that encompasses a lot of things.
All right. I propose
you can go, dude, you can go One Nation Under, which is describing what's going on right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. See, how about I just gave your listeners a playlist?
How about I go Get to Work, since that's your first one, right? That's the first one you suggested.
Yeah.
And then on the back end, I'm going to put Owning It. And I can, of course, right? Is that okay to do?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Owning It and then One Nation Under. I'll have those both on the back end of the show.
Well, I really appreciate that. That's
My
dope.
pleasure. I want to hear this right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, off the album Heat from 2018, the band Farooq, Get to Work.
It's time to get to work. Yeah. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. And it's so expensive. Yeah. I'm up and back on the move. Time is too expensive, so it's nothing to lose. You gotta show and prove. Know the rules. Be a student of the game. Home you go to school 'cause it's time to lace up your shoes and kick it. See them opportunities and swing, or you'll miss it, baby. Show, improve, know the rules, and learn from the losses. If you don't, you're a fool. It's time. Hey, yo. If you wanna be the best, you gotta try. Hey, yo. Check that squat. You already know, baby. Yeah. It's time to get to work. Oh, yeah. It's time. It's time. It's time. And it's too expensive. Oh.
God damn.
Look at this cat right here. You see it? Making me want to work out.
Seriously, that's sick. I fucking love that, man. I hope you guys liked it too. We just played our first song from a band that we know, Steve. I'm kind of excited right now.
That's crazy. Like, we could get
It's milestone shit.
Come on. Like,
Man.
once this zombie apocalypse is over, I'm sure we can get like backstage passes every time.
That's funny that you would think our shows have backstage.
Yeah. You might be able to get a drink ticket or something, Steve, or maybe just get
I'm
get
down.
an X on your hand.
I'll give you my drink tickets.
There you go.
That's right. No alcohol for straight edgers.
Yeah.
I didn't think about
Oh
that. I
yeah, that's a
forgot about
question. At your shows, do you allow alcohol?
I don't book my show. I mean, I don't run my venues. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just didn't know if that was
This
like a
is-
stipulation. Like, hey, we'd rather not have that.
No, I mean, for me, it's just this between me and me. So just don't make it my problem and I won't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Funny tour story if we have time for that.
Sure.
We're playing. I mean, we get the customary, hey, can I get you beer or whatever, you know, which is super nice. And I'm like, they got root beer, you know?
Or
But-
ginger beer.
How about ginger ale?
Yes.
There you go. See, Steve.
Oh, come on, man. You forget who you're talking to. All right. So we're playing Lancaster in 2017, I think. Anybody been to Lancaster? Who's from Lancaster out there in the crowd? Woo! There you go. I see you. Yo, Lancaster is Fresno, dude. I don't care what anybody
It
says.
really is.
And we played we played an area that was very reminiscent to Chestnut and Clinton.
Fair.
Okay, so we play a bar that in a shopping center that's similar to, you know where that Me and Ed's is on Chestnut and Clinton.
I was just trying to picture it. Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's that area, and we get out and we're with the band from Vallejo, so they ain't worried about nothing. You know, my homies Cutthroats, they're fine. We're with another band from Paradise, and they're like, good. They're from Oroville, Paradise, Chico area, you know?
Okay.
Our boys in Aberrants, and they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, feels like home.
Fresno.
Yeah. But it was scary in that bar and in that venue. Not because of the reasons that most normies would think, but because there wasn't the patronage there looked like they didn't want to see people like us there. So that's what was worrying me, is I wasn't seeing a lot of my own there. And we set up, the promoter does a horrible job. He'd been doing a horrible job the whole time. We start playing our set and a bunch of dudes that look like they could be my cousins roll in. And it's the high socks and the Adidas and the Cortezes and the Kangol hats and the tattoos. And I'm just like, yes, this is my crowd. So I start playing to them because we're right by the pool tables where they're shooting pool in this tiny little venue with no stage. They had to move the pinball machines for us to play and plug in a PA. And because of my style, I can kind of change my delivery to sound more rappy. And I kind of carry myself as the MC that I am up there, despite the fact that I'm with a hardcore band, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all of us in the band listen to rap and hip hop more than mostly anything when we're traveling.
So it's like a natural transition. You can just go back and forth.
I mean, it's already in our style. So it's
Right.
like, what do I want to accentuate today? So we're playing, and the OG of the group is watching us, and he's not moving. He's not doing anything. The rest of them are bobbing their heads. And he's got to be like 6'4". He's a big dude. And during our set, he walks away, and I'm like, oh no, you know?
Of course.
Comes back with 2 short glasses of clear liquid with a lime on the side.
Oh, he's offering you a drink.
And he comes up, and during our set, he comes down from the heavens with this and hands it right in my face. And I like salute him, and yo, I feel the love though, man. He doesn't know I don't drink. He's coming from the most sincere place. I'm not offended.
Course.
I feel loved at that moment. You know what I mean?
No, he's showing you love big time, man. He went out of
Facts.
his way to get you a drink to show some respect.
And I grab it and I put it down next to the drums out of harm's way. And I pick up my water and I turn and I unscrew it and I cheers with him my water to his glass. And then we both take drinks and he gives me a nod and I'm like, you know what I mean? Because, man, like, I want to be this guy's friend from jump anyways, but now, like, I don't want to insult this guy, you know?
Yeah, you're not trying to faux pas.
Yeah, man, I'm just a 2-legged animal. I got 2 paw. So, like...
No, I'm not doing this.
No, I saw what he did there. I liked it.
I will not.
No?
No. Go on.
I only have 1 dad and I have 1 paw. No? Okay, sorry. I guess that'll get edited out.
It's staying in there. I'm not taking that one out, Daniel. Sometimes you just gotta let it fall.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said.
God damn it.
Anyway.
Now I got 2 of you.
I brought him back. Okay, anyways, put it down. We finish our set and they come up to us and like, hey man, good shit. That shit was dope. I didn't expect that. I'm like, thank you so much, man. Here's some stickers. You guys want a shirt? They're on discount. You know, I'm just trying to show some love and actually get something on some locals there that I could identify with. You know what I mean? These are my people. These are my cousins, dude. These are my cousins.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, bro, thank you for the shot, man. I'm not drinking tonight, which is what I always tell people. There's my secret, guys. I always say I'm not drinking tonight. They don't know that it's every night. It's also tonight. It's not their fucking business either. You know what I mean?
True.
And it stops the conversation. And if somebody's in your grill on why you're not drinking, they're probably a scumbag that night.
That's true.
If they're trying to be all in your shit for not drinking, like, why are they in your business?
Still peer pressuring and shit as adults.
Yeah, that's fucking weird, dude. Super weird. I'm not drinking tonight. I've told people to make them really uncomfortable. I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, that's fair.
And they don't know I'm recovering from somebody else's alcoholism.
I see what you did there.
It is a fact.
I see what you did there.
It is a fact, man. And I'm fighting it because it's around. It's been around.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to get too serious. I'm like, hey, man, thank you for my shot. I handed it to my bass player because I'm not drinking tonight, but man, I really appreciate the love. And he's like, Suze, as long as somebody drinks it, I'm like, yo, my bass player, I'll take it for you. And then I tell my bass player, Adam, who's not in the band anymore, but such a beast and we love him. I'm like, hey, Shadam. Of course, we have nicknames. I don't know if you noticed that. Nobody's got their legal name in the band.
Caught that.
Of course not.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, Shadam, big homie over there, he gave me a double shot and he started laughing. I'm like, I need you to take it for me. And he's like, for sure. And I'm like, hey, go show him some love. He's right over there. And so he goes over there and he thanks the dude. And then he turns and takes the double in one shot and doesn't even flinch. And Shadam is a chill dude. I feared him at that moment. Because I picked it up and smelled it, and I was already like, "Oh my," you know,
Bust your pearls.
Yeah, and Shadam was like, "Thanks, homie." Took it and then proceeded to just load up the equipment and take it to the car like it was another day.
What a champ!
But yeah, so as far as alcohol, it ain't for me, and I'm not digging it. And as long as you don't get in my business about it, like offering me a drink is an extension of friendship. I appreciate that. I'm not going to get mad at somebody for not knowing all about my life right when they meet me. That's weird. But being on my ass afterwards, then we're going to have some issues.
You're a local superstar, Daniel.
I don't know about that. But
Stop it.
The fact that you see me in any kind of a positive light makes me feel great because you're an outstanding dude.
I appreciate that.
One of my biggest influences. I'll fight you all day, but like, I'll never gouge your eyes. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, Daniel.
No, it's
like
I appreciate that.
It's like when puppies tussle, like they're not going for the throat. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, you're not going to do the battle rap thing on me. You're not going to come at me like that because you're so good. You would be a destruction zone.
I wasn't even that kind of a battle rapper.
You kind of were though.
Was I?
Yeah.
I didn't go too personal. I mostly just body shamed and was homophobic.
Like
that's why I hate battle rapping and why I didn't do it anymore. Because back then I was like, yo, that's ugly. Like
when he's your father died last week. You're like, oh, Jesus,
yeah,
what are we
no,
doing?
that's all bad. Or just calling somebody gay like it's an insult. Like that's not okay. That was funny back then to me, but it's actually like funny to me, but really fucked up to my homies that are gay. They don't think that shit's
That's
funny.
true.
You know what I mean?
Well,
and
what
so
gets on my nerve,
to me, I was like, oh, that was hilarious. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So-and-so probably doesn't think that's hilarious. And that's not worth a joke to me. Not at all.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it comes from a time from like the early 80s and 90s where it wasn't even like, and I'm not defending it. I'm just saying
that was battle rap too back then.
Yeah, I think a lot of people threw that word around, not even in the homophobic sense as much as it was just we were sort of conditioned and raised to think that was like an insult word. You're walking,
absolutely,
you hit your buddy when you're walking down the street with them, call him that, something like that. That was just very normal. But now it's completely different, and you have to respect that.
The fact that as a straight man, I was structured to think that gay was bad is weird because gay is not my business. If I'm not gay, it's not my business.
You're right.
That's between them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why do I even have a say in it? It's not my deal. The fact that I was culturally told, like around me, my friends, my peers, older people than me, this is bad. And it actually doesn't have anything to do with me. That's weird.
Oh, dude. And the thing
weird.
is rap, not only rap, but battle rap also.
Eminem.
The whole culture, there's still a lot of misogyny there, dude.
For sure.
I mean, dude. I could still, like, when I listened, it's so funny. I listened to It Ain't No Fun this week, and I was like, Jesus Christ. It's about gang rape.
There's some bad stuff. The beats are so good. And the thing is, you know what I hate is when people try to be racist about it. Like, well, that's all that music is about. But then you listen to death metal, it's even worse. I read some of the lyrics. I gave away and threw away CDs where I was like, yo, these beats are slamming. Like these riffs are tight. Wow, this vocalist sounds cool. And then I read his lyrics. I think it was Pig Destroyer had an album that I had where the riffs were ridiculous. Like the songwriting, amazing. And I read the lyrics. I'm like, this guy's a fucking creep. I'm out.
Yeah. That's how I feel about a lot of those bands, man.
I couldn't understand what he was saying, but when I read his lyrics, I was like, he's a creep. I'm not down. I don't care. This isn't entertaining to me. I'm out.
Have you thrown any CDs away, Dan?
Nah, I usually trade them in. Trade them in and get something for them.
I think I traded them with one of my homies or something like that. That one in particular, I traded with one of my buddies.
I can't remember the last CD I bought, actually. It's been all digital lately.
Neither can, but here's the thing. When I first went through my super duper spiritual Christian awakening, I burned 400 CDs.
Burned as in copied?
As in burned or crushed, destroyed.
Dang.
Because they were of the devil. Yeah. And they were, dude, I had some beasts.
Give me one. What is the most evil thing you had in your collection?
It would be Doggy Style.
You didn't have no 3-6 Mafia? Get out of here.
3-6 Mafia wasn't even around yet.
Oh, dang. My bad.
Yeah, they weren't even existent yet. This was 98,
oh, they
99.
were around. They were definitely around. They just weren't in the mainstream yet. I was listening to that in 98, 99.
Dude, then again, you also listen to Mystical and all those Cash Money Herbs.
Bro, they were on the box.
G.
Hit that club up. Dude, Hit a Motherfucker is a mosh pit song.
You think Cash Money was good, but you're going to have something to say about him. I don't know what to say.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yep.
Because you think Lil Wayne's dope, don't you?
He's all right.
Good.
I like flavor, dude. I like flavor. I don't want to listen to that unseasoned chicken that is Eminem. That's what he looks like. That's what he sounds like to me. It's just, I don't mess with that. That's not for me.
He's like boiled chicken.
Yes.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair. And okay.
Well, you know what it is? With a whole bunch of salt.
I got a question before, because it is actually, I got to start getting ready.
Yeah, right.
Dan, I just got the weirdest text message.
What's that, man?
Did you wouldn't have happened to give the Dark Lord my number, would you?
Not
Jesus.
willingly. Look, dude, I got family to take care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I thought I was family.
Listen, you're family. You are family, but I have got family, blood family, real blood.
Real blood, my bad.
My blood, not you know what I'm saying?
Like blood as in what you sacrifice?
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is that, Steve, speaking of blood, sometimes in my case, listen, I'm all jumbled up because here's the deal. I feel I may have made a mistake.
Yeah.
Do you remember the portal?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the portal?
Yeah.
The portal doesn't even work anymore. And things have changed. I told you I didn't sign my name, but I did drop blood onto the contract. And it seems now that things are a little bit out of my control. He took away the portal. He's not quite as friendly to me as he used to be. And I'm not going to say what I was threatened with, but if I didn't give him your number, he said he wasn't really going to use it unless it was necessary. But that, what's really deemed necessary when you're the Dark Lord?
He just texts saying how is he hearing our conversation?
Well, that's the thing I didn't really tell you is that.
Oh, great.
There's no portal anymore, but I'm still able to communicate with him. But now I kind of have to go into a place to do it. So it's kind of like substituting, it's mostly giving up most of my body and mind. Basically, I'm getting possessed temporarily. That's how it works now. I'm sorry. I regret it. Gail hates it. I mean, it comes up at the most inopportune times. We could be sitting around. We were at Applebee's one night. Uh-huh. And I was just trying to enjoy my baby back ribs. And sorry, guys. I know that's probably gross to you guys.
Chili's.
Yeah. Oh, that was chili. Sorry. See, I'm all confused. But no, Applebee's has me too. They just, but I like their song better. Chili's has a better song.
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to enjoy them. And all of a sudden, she comes up to me, the waitress, and she's like, "Hey, can I get you anything else?" And my eyes roll back. My nose starts bleeding. And the next thing I know, I wake up and we're getting 86 from Applebee's. And I don't know. Gail's still pissed off at me.
You didn't tell me any of this.
Well, it's embarrassing. You don't want to, you try to keep your dirt to yourself.
He's texting me saying he wants to talk to Daniel immediately. I hope he's not available.
It would be nice if he texted me, right? Being that I have to be the vessel for all this bullshit, Daniel. Like, I don't want to insult my guests and say no. So
You can.
you know I can't say no to anything, Steve. All right.
I just got a text saying you can't.
Okay, hold
Never
on.
mind. All right.
You guys got to give me a second here. My nose is going to start bleeding. Where's my...
What's wild is you're answering the Dark Lord's text messages, but not mine. That's wild.
Okay, Daniel, please, just a second, please. Just give me a little respect. I got to get into the right mind frame. I mean, you've been talking all goddamn episode, Daniel. Just give me a second.
sorry.
I got to get into this here.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
Who dares awaken the Prince of Darkness? Who has stepped into my lair? Who calls on the Angel of Death, Satanis? I'm just kidding, guys. What's going on? Hey, what's happening?
Whoa.
I can't even buy into my own bullshit anymore.
Yo.
How's it going, guys? I got you. Admit it, I got you for a second. I did.
Because you text me and we didn't actually call on you. But look, you said you wanted to talk to Daniel, bro.
Yeah, real quick, Steve, real quick. Just so we don't really incriminate Dan too much, because he's doing enough as it is right now. You should see the way this guy looks. He's got drool coming out of his mouth. It's pretty ridiculous. But I do know a guy at AT&T, and that's how I got your number.
If you could do a favor and not text Daniel, like our guest, it would be nice. But I can't really stop you from doing that sort of thing.
Well, how
but
could I do
from
that?
now on,
I've got Daniel already. He's in my possession. Okay. Here, there's another Daniel.
Yeah, we're D squared today.
Oh, D squared. Got it. Hey, okay.
You like what I did there?
No, not really, but that's okay. I mean, I've told a lot of bad ones too.
Okay. Okay. Well, you wanted to talk to Daniel. Here he is, the lead singer Farooq, music extraordinaire, Daniel, the Dark Lord.
Daniel, how you doing, man? Looks like it's time. It's time to talk to you, right? You see what I did there?
Wow. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit starstruck, man.
Oh, yeah? You've been following my work?
Not by choice, but it seems like you pop up everywhere that I've been. So
I stay busy. You gotta. What'd they say? You gotta stay ready, right? I'm trying to talk the hip hop lingo. I don't really listen to that stuff. I'm more of a. I like Mel Tillis and Garth Brooks, and really into Shania Twain.
I figured you'd have friends in low places.
I see what you.
See, that's how it's done. That's how it's done, Steve.
I'm gonna leave now.
That's how it's done.
I'm gonna go ahead and exit.
Angel of Death, did you hear that one? He said, "I've got friends in low places." I know, right? Like he writes songs, and this guy's fucking great. I like him a lot. Hey, sorry about that. I had to talk to my buddy real quick. All right, yeah. So listen, I'm going to tell you something. I don't have Apple Music. We don't get any of that stuff down here. Most of the time, I have to just get into Dan's head to listen to this stuff. So about 3:00 in the morning, I went through your entire catalog. It's fucking brilliant. I just want to tell you that's fantastic, really. But I do have a question for you. This is the reason that I reached out to Steve. Why not worship me and sing about me? I mean, the music sounds pretty aggressive, kind of evil, some of it, really. I mean, whether you think so or not, trust me, Junior, I've been doing this shit a long time. There's definitely essences of evil. I'm curious why you choose not to embrace the Dark Lord, and maybe, we can work something out together. Like, make a I think I need to be on a t-shirt, is what I'm saying.
Like I said, I'm humbled by you reaching out, especially since you're from a book that I didn't even think made sense. You are the bad guy of a book where the good guy doesn't show up in real life, but they're all following the good guy. So now the bad guy shows up?
Well, I felt it was time. See, I did it again.
You're killing me, man. This is wild.
Steve-O, you're a little quiet over there, buddy. Are you afraid again?
I'm enjoying. You are actually pretty funny. I've counted 2 good jokes coming from the Dark Lord. I'm impressed.
I've been working out my brain.
I believe that. You're killing it. You are killing it.
I've been so on this entire podcast, and at this moment, I'm taken aback.
Yeah, he's a little mum's the word now. I mean, you did say, Steve, that he was going to be just chatter and talking. So I really wanted to hear about the Farooq thing, and I heard a little bit of it. I was occupying Dan's brain. But at the same time, I'm also getting some material because I got Sam Kinison down here. You actually write some of his jokes for me. It's great. He's like, he does that stuff. Remember him? He's like,
well, here's the problem. What other? I've always wondered this. Is Hendrix there?
No. He's on his own.
Wow.
He's on his own, man. I don't know. It's funny that you bring that up because we were just cleaning out the seventh circle of hell is almost functional again. But then, of course, my buddy Coronavirus up there doing the most.
Killing.
Yeah, he's literally killing a whole bunch of people. So I had to actually stop. And I put a whole bunch of evil into the seventh circle of hell. And it turns out it was all wasted evil. So we're back to a file room again. Anyway, I'm looking at some things. And I pulled up in the back section. We have this old area for the club, the 27 Club. Have you guys heard of the 27 Club?
I have.
Yeah, we've got Janice down here. We've got Jim down here. Cobain down here.
Wow.
Cobain's there.
Well, it was on a technicality. You know what I mean? He was actually a pretty good guy, but he broke the rules and boom, now you're mine.
That's unfortunate. Oh, so if you kill, it's automatic there with a shotgun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Does the bullet heal? Bullet one heal, or do they look?
No, he's
brand
all
new?
fucked up looking. It's terrible.
Oh Jesus.
Shit.
Yeah, he looks.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, his face looks like. You know what he looks like? You guys watch that show Stranger Things?
I do.
Yeah, you know the Demogorgon when he opens up his face.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well,
Oh my
the Duffer
God.
Brothers came to me. They said, "Hey, we have this idea. You got anything? We really want to make something look crazy, right?" I'm like, "Crazy? You're talking to the man, of course." So I pulled out the old Cobain picture. I'm like, that's it right there.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it looks like a sunflower.
Dark Lord, that was dark for you.
It looks like a sunflower, or like if you took an artichoke and then you just like pressed it onto a table and then like held it up, like, hey, look what I did. Yeah, that's what.
Keep going.
Yeah. He looks like a cat's asshole, basically. Just a bunch of weird tissue everywhere and then a hole in the center. It's great. But he talks still.
That is.
Yeah, he's still able to belt it out though.
Oh, has he given concerts down there?
I don't know if I'd call it a concert. Sometimes I just call on people to amuse me. I get on my bullshit every once in a while, and I like to, look at me, I'm the Dark Lord. They like that shit. Every once in a while, you gotta throw them a bone. So every once in a while, I'll call on these people, much like a king would call a court jester, and I'd be like, play for me. Play for me.
Okay.
So he does that. Except, I mean, it still sounds good. It's just a...
Oh no, don't do that. So you decided to pull up a catalog that I participated in as some of your entertainment between listening to Cobain sing as like that. You decided to, but you were looking for a shout out.
Well, here's the deal, man. I really like your last album. The other two, I gotta be honest with you, if it was me, I'd probably changed a couple of things, but you do you. This album here, now, is Heat. You understand why I like the title. Heat. I am in hell. I am the Prince of Darkness. Perhaps it's self-serving, but hey, what have you? I'm the Prince of fucking Darkness, man. What do you think? No, I think I liked your album cover because it looked very much like the porthole that we used to use. I like this better, though, now, guys. Hold on a second here. Hold on.
I can't do this much longer, guys. So please just wrap up.
Okay, I got one more question for him, and I promise I'll be done.
Holy shit.
I got a question.
Yeah, anything.
And then we're going to let Dan come back.
I know I didn't really talk to you too much, Dan, but if it's okay with you, I'm going to keep talking to Daniel here for a second. It gets confusing with the 2Ds.
Please, no, please.
I just wanted to say real quick, Daniel, that I think you're a very talented human being, and perhaps one day we could just meet in private. And I know you were talking about record labels and such, but let's just say I'm a man of means, and I know a lot of people, and maybe we could work together. You just have to sign this contract, and we can make things happen for you, buddy.
That is terrifyingly intriguing.
It just takes a little bit of your blood. That's it. A little bit of blood, some chance. Have you ever killed a goat before?
See?
Oh, that's
I know. That's the problem. It's a conflict of interest. I understand, but sometimes you got to get your hands dirty if you want to play in the mud.
You notice you call for my blood, no flinch. No flinch. You call for my blood, no flinch. You call for an innocent goat's blood. Now I'm speaking.
What if we took a piece of tofu and filled it with goat's blood? We'll do the work. You don't got to get your hands dirty. And then we'll shape it like a goat, and then you just cut that and let the goat's blood run from the tofu neck. I'm trying to work with you, kid.
You know how many goats I've met, dude? I've met more goats than Dark Lords.
How dare you insult the Dark Lord?
Oh no!
I'm just fucking with you.
He offered me a shot, and I declined it.
Nah, I'm just kidding around. I like the kid.
Hey, Daniel, you only get one shot, so don't miss your chance to blow.
See, and I'm not the blowing type, so maybe this deal is for others.
I got that reference, Steve. Mom's spaghetti. Mom's spaghetti. I think about that line all the time. Could you imagine? You're sitting there, you're trying to... It must have been hot on stage. The lights are on him, and now suddenly you got mom's spaghetti all over you. That's a great
You really got a kick out of
I
that.
really
Okay,
love it.
well,
I like spaghetti, and to think that
I don't
someone
want to
would throw
turn
it up.
down the Dark Lord.
you kind of can't.
It's true.
I
You really
mean,
can.
I feel like I'm not opposed to talking more.
Okay, well,
Here we go.
Well, we'll work out the
That's
details later. I'm just going to have to ask that maybe you... Well, tell you what. I'm going to make you a one-time deal. When you're done with this episode, all you got to do is go out into your garage, open up your water heater door. We're going to go ahead and reinstate the portal just for you. I know how you are. I'm going to cut out the goat shit and all that stuff. I think you got talent, kid. And I'm ready to own you. I mean, I'm ready to support you.
Here's what I'll counter offer. Steve knows I don't lay down for nobody. I'm gonna secretly shout you out and you'll hear it. Actually, if you listen to some of our other records, not at 3 a.m., not with the mumbling of Kurt Cobain over you, you may find something.
Oh, I hear that. There we go. You got to do your Perry Mason.
Count syllables.
You realize you're talking to the fucking Dark Lord. You think I got time for that, kid?
I've been studying you, homie. I've been studying you, big homie. I'm trying to soak up game.
Who is this guy, Steve?
Well, then go to the water heater closet then, Daniel. Go to the water heater closet.
It's only going to be open for 24 hours. After that, back to the goat. That's the only way. Think about it, kid. I'm just telling you got talent. I like where you're going, and I could have you literally being the president of the United States within 5 years.
I'm not going to say no, but I am going to tell you that my water heater's on the side of the house, not in the garage.
There it is. Garaje.
Whose house am I looking at? What is this fucking Google Maps shit anyway? Oh, sorry about
grandma-
that. Yeah. No, sorry. I had the guy next door to you. We're good. I see it.
All right, good. We have arranged things.
We have. And I just asked that Farooq makes a t-shirt with some form. Like, it could be really small. Maybe it's a flame that kind of looks like a demon, but I want it to look like me. So I'm going to go ahead and send you a 5x7. And I'll also send you an 8x10. And you can choose either one, but those are my headshots. They're a little dated. I have less hair now. My horns are a little bit bigger. But these are all from like 1986.
When you started the deal.
Well, it's a weird thing. I used to be friends with John Ritter. And this was before he passed. And he knew a guy.
Wow.
He knew a guy, so we went in on it and we both got headshots. That's all. That's really all there is to it.
Oh, and I imagine it was just you two because Three's company.
Wow.
That's my kind of humor right there, buddy.
It only took him 2.5 hours. He's on. We can get started now.
All right, you guys, I gotta get out of here. Seriously, this kid's ready to...
All right,
He's gonna
okay,
fucking
okay.
explode if I don't give him his body back.
It's been an honor.
Okay.
By the way, I'm still trying to work on this podcast thing, so if you would allow me to maybe play a Farooq song or two, I want to make a show.
Done.
I can't tell the Dark Lord no.
All those Heroes of Noise listeners out there, we're still looking for a name for the show. I still like Satancast. Everyone tells me that it's a terrible name. All right, subjects of hell.
All right.
We're out of here. I'm out of here. I gotta go.
Later.
I got a building to blow up somewhere in Afghanistan. All right, guys. See you later.
Whoa.
That's a lot going on over there. You missed out, Dan.
What happened?
You missed out.
Oh my God, I'm
Good?
sweating. I'm covered in blood.
That's what she said.
All right. Did I miss anything?
No, you are totally fine. It's just pretty much Daniel sold his soul to the devil without knowing it.
I don't know why, but I really want to listen to Nirvana right now. Is that weird?
And watch Stranger Things, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a great show. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm disoriented. Daniel, it's back to you. Steve, where are we at here? Are we doing okay on time, buddy? I'm all sweaty.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to get out
Oh,
of here.
my
But before we leave, I just want to say, Daniel, thank you for coming on. It can't be the last time, man, because I
Man.
have a lot more hip hop to debate with
We
you
should
about.
we should probably segment these or something at some point because we can jump. We can go.
Oh, for sure. Dude, listen. I mean, I still need you on the podcast for the Eminem thing.
We could jump so
because
hard
I'm
they'll
gonna
turn your
convince
clothes
you.
backwards for sure.
Like crisscross?
Now you
Like
totally
that,
crossed
I
out
got
like
you.
crisscross.
I got you.
Wow.
Oh, that was my line on that song. Totally crossed out the crisscross. That was my jam. Anyway,
I'd have to say this was a great show for me because it was nice listening to you guys catch up or talk about the old days, how you got to know each other. Honestly, I took a back seat and I just listened the whole time. I loved it. I thought it was great. Daniel, I think you're a great guest, man, and you're welcome back anytime.
I'd be honored to come back literally. I got this set up now, man. Like we're rolling. You guys may not be able to get rid of me. Like,
You're in podcast mode. I like it.
well, I mean, I feel like I've lost a little bit of blood.
You're telling me.
yeah,
And
you
so-
probably have. Yeah.
I don't know what I have control over now when it comes to what I'm doing with this microphone and this podcasting setup here. So
Look.
I'd be happy to come back anytime. And if you guys want to call me, just tell me what time and I can come back.
We appreciate this and we're going to accept your offer, sir.
Oh, okay.
Is he
what?
okay, man? What is he okay, Steve? He's acting different.
He doesn't seem.
Hold on, I'm going to mute him real quick. Hold on. I'm going to mute me and you, so
right.
only it's us.
Okay.
Sorry,
All right.
Daniel. We'll be right back.
Okay.
What's going on with him?
Yeah, he gave us.
He was just
the
all
whole
like, he was
soul
on
thing.
point the entire
Yeah.
time. Like telling
it's
story
just-
after story, making me laugh and shit, talking about philosophy and his philosophy on life. And then I come back and now he's like a mess. What's going on? I don't want to take too long because I'm being rude.
No, what happened was the devil said, "Will you meet me in a portal?" And he said no the first time, but the second time,
Hold up. The Dark Lord offered him a portal.
yes, and Daniel agreed,
Okay. All right.
and so it's.
No,
it's
I mean,
over for
cool
him.
for Daniel. You do what you got to do. You can't hear me. Hold on. All right, Daniel. So I'm caught back up now. You do what you got to do, buddy. But you have a portal.
It is getting a little weird here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah, you're telling me.
I visited the side of my house recently. And
Visited.
yeah, like I don't know why. I mean, it's 100 and something degrees out,
Uh-huh.
but I went out and just needed to check on my water heater.
As
And-
one does in the summer.
Yeah. And then, from then, like, I feel like I'm missing a scene, like scene missing,
Yeah,
but we're wrapping up this
Yeah.
show and you guys are stoked and I'm stoked. So I don't see a problem really. I really don't see a problem at all. So like, like whatever, like I trust you guys, like,
yeah. You're fine.
you guys are like blood to me. So like, I trust you guys. So like,
a lot of blood talk.
You know what? I'm
Interesting.
confused a little bit. I'm gonna have to go and listen to the playback because I really don't know what's going on with you, Daniel. No offense. I don't want to
I'm
offend.
worried
I
about
don't want to offend you. I don't want
I
to.
feel like this has been a great podcast. So like, whatever happens from here is dope too.
Okay.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. All right.
I guess we should
Well,
probably wrap it up there then. Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, the next voices you're going to be hearing is Daniel the man and his music. Love you guys. Peace out.
Yes. Let's take us out. All right, Daniel. You did a great job, man. I like you on the show. I love your fucking music. And of course, we're going to play 2 more songs, guys, after the show ends. So stick around for those. But for the people that are now interested, now fans of Farooq, fans of Daniel, where can they find you?
Facebook.com/Farooq Mosh, FAROOQ MOSH. Actually, that's the same handle as you will find on Instagram and Twitter as well. And if you just Google search Farooq, FAROOQ Fresno, you'll find everything on there for that. You could also go to glacierrecordings.com and find that real good stuff for Farooq there. Glacierrecordings.com is the spot, the number one spot to find everything Farooq.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe not first, but you heard it on here, and that counts, right? We'll take it. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on, man. Like I told you, anytime you want to come back, feel free. As for me, you guys are stuck with me. It's my show. Me and Steve, we run this show. We are the Heroes of Noise. My name is Dan Ramirez. For Daniel Dominguez and Steve Hudson. And apparently Satan did I don't know what Satan said. I'm going to listen to that on the way back. So whatever he said, just realize it's just coming through me, but it's not necessarily my words. I'm done giving explanations. Be good to yourselves. Be good to the people around you. Peace.
To fight again! Feeling nothing could save me from this shit today. Feeling nothing won't save me from this pain. Fuck! What if everything in life was fair? What if I didn't fucking care? Feeling nothing could save me. Feeling nothing won't save me, I'm so exhausted. This isn't really how I want to be, but the negativity's the only thing that I see. I could feel nothing, and it could all be so easy. Feeling nothing will keep me in this fight. My heart hurts and I wanna lay down, but laying down never got me anywhere. I'd rather fight than die, you have to fight or die.
Gotta swing back harder, because feeling nothing can save me from this shit today.
But feeling nothing won't save me from this pain. Fight! I learned to roll with every punch, so we can fight this shit side by side. Just try to open your eyes, so alive. Even if we have to fight all day, every day, till the day I die. All day, every fucking day, till the day I die. All day, every day, till the day I die. All day, every fucking day, until I die. Every day, till the day I die. All day, every day, till the day I die. All day, every day, till the day I die. I still open. War the hand on the front. So many graves. How the fuck could this place be a beacon of freedom? How the fuck when they took the heart of masses to deceive and betray them? The land of the dead, land of the dead, where the owners of slaves. Twisted history. I hate that I don't have a native tongue. I hate that I don't have a native tongue. You motherfuckers bastardize the land you claim. Manifest racism arrogance. I'll sit down, keep my head on and remember the cost of that white, blue, and bloody cloth. The first offenders were fathers of clan members. Since 2017, that flag has looked more to me like a burning cross. God bless. A goddamn miss. What kind of fucked up God would bless such a careless infestation of leeches, justifying each murder in corporate government-sponsored speeches? And now we're in this goddamn mess. How do I go back to where I'm from? Where the fuck you from, fool? Shit. You know? Shit, I'm from a place where we earn what we got. And my biggest fear out here is getting burned by the cops. You gotta learn how to talk and know when to stop. On top of that, they tripping off colors, the wrong ones will get you popped. Motherfuckers patronize the land you claim. Manifest arrogance. Manifest arrogance. What kind of fucked up God would bless so many ships full of murderers?